What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pipe Up!
My name's Jeff.
It's been a while!
It's been a while. I thought you were going to introduce yourself, but we can introduce ourselves. Hello, Grace.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, fantastic.
It's been a couple weeks. Maybe a little longer than a couple
Maybe more than a couple. Maybe more than a couple. Definitely.
Yeah, so October was a heck of a time for me personally, with October being very spooky based. So I did lots of horror streams, lots of intricate makeup that took a lot of time out of my schedule, but I had a great time. How was your October?
It's been a blur, to be honest.
I feel that.
There's been a lot going on. I suppose I did start taking notes down because that's the way I operate with the Pipe Up, because my memory's shot. I'm an old guy with bad memory. So I try to write things down.
All right, Jeff. I'm so old.
I try to write things down as the weeks go on, and I look back on them and go, oh, it reminds me that happened and this happened and that happened. Because I think the last time we spoke was kind of like it was pre-lifting of COVID restrictions. There was console stuff. There was news about consoles and things. So yeah, lots of stuff's happened.
We also have different microphones.
Oh, hello.
It's a whole new world.
It is.
Now we got matchy mics. Thanks to our lovely friends at Rode Microphones, and we're both running off of the Rodecaster Pro.
I was going to say you have some new pre-processing. You have some brand new processing.
I do. Well, so Pipe Up coming to you live or in VOD form.
Brought to you by Rode.
The Rodes. I mean, we're already using Rode mics, but now they're different.
Yeah, and I was just telling my chat a little bit before you came into the voice that there is a little bit of technique that's required for these types of microphones.
4 fingers.
4 fingers away from the mic, that's right. And you sort of breathe not down the barrel, but across it, so you don't get too many plosives. So yeah.
Don't want those plosives, those cheeky plosives.
Those pops. Yeah. No.
So awesome. I think we can jump straight into, I mean, it's not going to be ups of the week, but it can be ups and downs over the last month or so.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about. So this is probably going to be like a longer one, and then we are going to jump into a game afterwards as well for those that are here live.
Yeah. So we're going to go to the ups and downs now. I'll just flick my thing over. There we go.
So I've got a lot. I've got like 6 ups and like 4 downs.
6 ups. All right. So maybe you should start so we can intersperse mine in between yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first ups, there was a number, but for me, as I mentioned, like Halloween isn't really a thing that is huge in Australia. For those that aren't familiar, like it is a very American holiday, but it's starting to get there. And because I am a person of the internet with viewers from all over the world, I can kind of use that to go the extra mile and really make like Halloween a really fun, exciting time for everybody. So had a bunch of Halloween streams. We had emotes, we had decorations all through the room, which is a lot of fun. I did a lot of like crazy makeup and stuff, which was prior to October, because I last year was the first time that I really put a lot of effort into Halloween and doing like creative makeup looks, because it's kind of a new field for me. And I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, what if I can't do anything that's like as good as last year? Because I'm always trying to improve and always trying to like top myself, basically. And
it's a good I suppose, what's the word? Just it's a good way to live life.
Yeah. General. I mean, if you don't look back a year from like, if you don't look back to last year and be like, ugh, like I've changed so much since then, that's probably not a good thing. If you're exactly the same as you were a year ago, you should probably work on some self-improvement. That's a whole other topic there. So yeah, I was really happy. Like the way that I approached each horror stream, I didn't really know 100% what I was going to look like on the day. I took random inspiration from things I've seen on the internet, but I didn't necessarily try to match it to the game that I was playing, because I didn't always know what was going to be in the games that I was playing. But I did 9 looks over Halloween, and I'm pretty proud of all of them for like different reasons. If you've seen them on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, you know what they look like. But yeah, it was like scary and fun, because I'd go in and it's one of those things where when you're doing makeup, especially really intense, like dark things with like a lot of black and stuff like that, you kind of just need to trust the process, because you start it and you're like, I look like a panda, like, oh fuck. And then you blend it and, you know, you get all the lines in, and then it eventually like, usually ends up coming together. There was only one instance where I started doing something and I was like, fuck, and I had to wash my whole face off and start again.
There's no undo button with that. You can't.
No,
just take
you
that
put
last step off.
especially with like a black liner, you put a line down, it's friggin' staying there unless you're gonna wash it off. Like, yeah, so that was really fun, like pushing myself kind of out of my comfort zone, I suppose. And I used sclero contacts for the first time, the ones that go over pretty much your entire eyeball, which were really intense to use, but finally learned how to use those. So it was a lot of learning. It was cool.
They're much better than like they used to be. Scleras.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because when I used to watch a lot of magic acts, they use scleras for certain things. One of the famous ones is Penn and Teller. They actually they would write, or I don't know how they'd write it on there, but at the end of the act, Teller would open his eyes and he'd have like the 3 of clubs drawn into his eyeballs. And those were usually with the hard shell scleras. So they weren't
crazy.
Silicone. Yeah.
Ooh.
And then they'd have someone in the audience come out and take them out for him. Just as part of the act. So yeah. So these days I imagine scleras, because you kind of have to fiddle with your eyelids and things. You literally have to like pull the top of your eyelid out and then shove it up inside into the back of your eye, and then pull your bottom lid open and fold it around it. It's pretty gnarly. I had to look up a video because I bought them and I was like, okay, these are huge. I don't know how I'm supposed to put these in. I looked up a video and I was sitting there watching in horror like, oh God, I have to do what? Yeah. They're kind of words you don't want in the same sentence either. Just like the shove up and pull, like
fold.
Fold.
Yeah, there's the whole thing. So that was a lesson.
Yeah.
It was a lesson.
Cool. How many you mentioned it, but how many of those looks were Mr. Squiggle looks? And when I say that, they're kind of like that. You start going and no one knows what it is until the little, what is it? The excavator says upside down, and then it forms its shape as time goes on. How many of them were like that?
I think I won't show it because it was kind of hectic, but like the one where people say it looks like a pizza with all the toppings that fell off. So like I basically was like a burnt mummy carcass. That was like black paint and blood, coagulated blood, just like kind of put all over my whole body and chest. And then I wrapped my face in like bandage that had like blood stains on it. And while I was doing it, I was like, I think I've gone too far. I think I've made a mistake. But yeah, it was actually the only stream where people were like, I can't look at you. I'm gonna see you next time. And I was like, I'm kind of proud of that though, because it actually, like a lot of people like, I could actually see that being on set of like a film, and I'm like, that's cool, because I have no background. I've literally just learned all of this on my own. I've not really taken any lessons, or I've watched the odd YouTube tutorial on how to put the contacts in, but for the most part, it's trial and error. And the fact that they all managed to come together, and I got decent photos of all of them as well, which is always a huge challenge for me. That was like a huge thing for me. So fucked if I know what I'm going to do next year, because I went so hard this year.
Were there any looks that you binned? Were there any rejects, or was there anything you had to completely bail on and restart?
Only what was it? I started painting my face white with this. So I bought like a really expensive palette that had white in it, but I was like, oh, I need a lot of it, so I don't want to use this whole palette for it. So I used like a cheaper one that was liquid, and I started like putting it all over my face, and it kind of started burning my skin a little bit, which is a story from my past where I got painted as a clown as a kid, and I was like, it burns! I was like 8 years old or something. So I was kind of getting flashbacks, and I was like, wash it off. So I ended up just using like a really, really pale foundation instead, because I knew that, one, it stays on, and two, it's not going to aggravate my skin, because my skin is quite sensitive as well. But then that also led into me using the expensive palette for when I did like the full red demon, and I'm so impressed with the quality of the paint. I will never use the crappy like body art, whatever the hell it is from the costume shop ever again, because I mean, you're putting it directly onto your skin as well, which your skin is like precious. You don't want to fuck with it. So don't buy cheap makeup and crappy stuff and put it on your skin, and don't buy contacts from Wish and put them in your eyes.
And don't always succumb to the too good to use syndrome.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I bought it for that reason. I don't know why. I was like, I don't want to use it. It's pretty. It's new.
Yeah. And in full coverage as well, Lady Lovejoy. Just
100%.
That's where it can be a bit, because I this is, me, I get distracted by conversations, but there was an old thing about the James Bond movie, Goldfinger.
Yeah.
And they had one of the one of the women were killed. One of the people were killed in the movie by being painted all in gold. And I remember they did an episode of Mythbusters about whether or not you did get full coverage in something, what it would do to you. And of course the guys were like, nah, nothing will happen. But funnily enough, when they did get fully covered in a paint or some sort of makeup, the blood pressure started to rise, the heart rate rose, and there was some weird anxiety going on. Yeah.
Like so every inch of their body.
Yeah, it was every inch. But so I mean, there might be some form of claustrophobia as well from just having the whole face covered and you looking at it, and your whole face is covered and there's no longer you looking out. So that might be a psychological factor as well.
Maybe more so if you weren't already accustomed to wearing like quite heavy makeup.
Oh yeah,
regularly.
There's obviously, with everything, there's going to be an adaptability and adaptive nature. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
wow.
That's interesting. I've got a lot of games as well that I'm going to probably save for like the picks of like 5 horror games that are worth your time kind of thing. Because horror games are really up and down. So I've got some suggestions for later. What was one of your ups?
One of my. Well, I'm gonna start. I've only got 2 things written down. I'm sure there's been more things.
Yeah.
But there was the ups and the downs. So the down, I suppose it's an up as well. Was I had my root canal restarted. So that was. It's funny that we've left pipe up for this long because next week, Friday, I'm actually having the next stage of the root canal done. And I would absolutely recommend to anyone out there with the toothache, just get it sorted out.
Really? Feels better?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels really, really good. I can now sort of eat properly because you don't realize how much of your life you go through eating on one side just so that you don't bite down on that tooth. It's like, ugh. So that was my down there. I can't really think of too many others because I suppose one of the things I try to do when I come across downs during a week is I suppose take lessons from it or just work through. It's you always kind of have to find a point of reference and say, look, there's always some other part of my life that I've been through that's been much more difficult than this, or someone else is dealing with something very,
What
very
about
difficult.
your ups?
The ups? You might want to hear my up that I've written down?
What are your ups?
My up. Look at my face. Look at my face.
Look at it.
I don't have a beard anymore.
Doesn't sound like an up.
No, so that's half of it. The other half of the story is that on the 1st of November, which we dubbed the first day of Movember, I started for the 15th year in a row. I started basically growing a moustache for men's health issues.
That's almost as long as I've been alive. No, I'm kidding. I'm 15.
All good, Nathan. I just hit it in the bot there. Man, the up that I've taken from having a cold upper lip and cold cheeks now is that we managed to raise over $1,000 on day one.
And what did that lead to, Jeff?
Oh man, so there was a bit of a challenge thrown down. So obviously when we started, I just started shaving and I wanted to have a bit of an educational stream into how to properly shave. Where we go through the process. It should be a bit of a ritual. Shaving itself, you're putting a sharp piece of metal to your face, so you kind of don't want to be mucking around with that. And so we went through the process, and as time went on, people were so generously donating to the cause. And I think a lot of that has to do with my own personal experience with I suppose tragedy in my life and the reasons why these sorts of foundations exist to help with not only the victims of and the people suffering through testicular prostate cancers, depression, suicide, that sort of thing, but also the people around them that are affected, because it's a lot of these tragedy doesn't just hit singular people. It affects multiple people around. And I think just having that chat made people realize, number one, like I was saying before, that there are probably people in worse situations than themselves. And if you can actually donate generously, then it's appreciated by all those who do receive it. And that kind of went on to the FFP tradition, where if we hit certain milestones, we would do certain challenges. And this one, I did make mention of all of the hair that was actually on the floor at my feet when I did shave it off. So someone said, "Hey Jeff, why don't you, if we hit $1,000, why don't we glue that hair off the floor onto my upper lip?"
Glue stash.
So yeah, glue stash.
That was
so.
I was not ready for what happened.
No, I think we were about $600 at that point, and everyone bandied together, and brought us to that $1,000 mark. And yeah, it was intense.
Was it worth it?
Yes.
100%.
Yes. 100% worth it.
And then you threw down another gauntlet too, right? If you hit 5.
We threw down a couple. We threw down a couple of gauntlets. So the next gauntlet is, if you're actually in my chat, I'm just going to post a link into the chat here. So there's a couple of links. You can go to my page or you can go to the team page. So there's a few people in chat right now, Zapapi and Beefoot. They're actually on the team. They're raising money as well. And the totals will go towards a team total. So if the team itself reaches 2,000 Australian dollars, I will do another 1,000 burpees this month. Which was like 1,500 last month was super tough. Did we actually cover that?
No,
in the last,
I was going to say no.
Pipe up? We can probably cover that as well.
Yeah, we can leave that for the fitness part.
Yeah, definitely. And so if the team hits 2,000, I will do 1,000 burpees. And if the team hits $5,000, I will shave my whole head.
Have you ever shaved your head?
No.
Woo! No. Can I do it?
Yes. Yeah, go for it. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, done.
Gotta do it, chat.
So that's not just my account. So if you don't feel like you like me enough, but you like the other people in my team, feel free to donate to them, and it'll go towards that whole team.
The team is Moe Jose.
Moe Jose. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so that's my up from the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
Had off of Pipe Up.
Well, I can talk about more of mine because I have lots. So we kicked off the 8-week challenge as well, I think, since our last episode. Because last episode that we did was the Women Don't Eat Pretty, so that was the heavy one. So since then, we are how many weeks deep are we? 4? Halfway? 3?
I think so. Yeah.
We are semi deep into the 8-week challenge through FFP. And
next phase starts next week.
Feeling good. Feeling sore. Like we did a core one on Monday and my core is still sore. And then we went off program on Wednesday and did a boxing workout. But holy crap, my lats from the boxing. Oh my God. But yeah, just seeing like everyone getting after it and hitting their goals. Like Hailstar just posted previously today that she's making good progress towards her weight loss goal and like she's super strong, and like just seeing people benefiting from, you know, something that we've created is awesome. Like it's so dope. And being able to do the workouts with people and seeing everybody's check-ins and holding each other accountable and all that kind of stuff, it's exactly what we set out to do. And like seeing that come to fruition is always like just good vibes and totally wholesome.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely. It's the whole creator thing. It's why we become creators.
Yeah.
It's especially when something that you create actually does help the world to a small extent. So yeah, that's fantastic. So you're feeling good about how you're going in the challenge?
Yeah. There was like because we have the space so close as well. Like I often go off program because we're like, let's do 1,500 kettlebell swings. Let's do, you know, this, that, and the other. So it is a little bit different for me because like everybody else in the challenge is just, you know, doing their things. But we go off program and do, you know, this night we're going to do a chipper with G. We're going to do something with Snippety, like all that kind of stuff. So mine varies a little bit, but just like getting back into a consistent thing with the program and being on it with people is nice. It's good.
Yeah. That's awesome. Brilliant. Did you have any more ups and downs?
I have so many.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm being greedy, taking all the spotlight.
No. And look, I think this is because when you're presenting and when you're in stream, you kind of follow what you're thinking. But I kind of want to take this opportunity to maybe ask you questions as if I'm interviewing you, and ask things that potentially you wouldn't have thought to share. So go for it. Let's hear what's on your mind. So
while kind of still on the topic of like Halloween as well, we did a first ever pumpkin carving, which was so fun. So we had G on stream for the first time ever, and she had an amazing time. Like massive love to my community for making her first Twitch experience positive. There wasn't any weird people in the chat. It was just like good, positive vibes, which is always a surprise when you're in just chatting. So that was a nice experience. And our pumpkins turned out so well. Like they all were so great. I loved it. Yeah. So it's definitely, I think that's going to kick off a yearly tradition of doing a pumpkin every year and maybe like increasingly getting more and more intricate and difficult over the years. So do you still?
I've still got mine.
Oh my God. Yours looks great.
I had to put a bit of plastic into it just so that the light could shine through. But those little candle things are still flickering. They're still shining.
That's crazy. Yours looks. I left mine in the sun and it got hell like moldy and decrepit. But I love how it looks right now. It looks so derpy. I love it. So that was really fun. And to add to Halloween things, there's so much Halloween stuff. I got to play Little Nightmares 2 early. So Little Nightmares is coming out next February. And I got an email from Bandai Namco and they were like, hey, would you like to play one level, which was like 45 minutes to an hour of the game early? And when I saw the email, I was like, is this a joke? Because this game comes out ages away and I've not really had an opportunity like that to play a game so early in advance. And normally I'll be like, oh, kind of want to keep my first impressions for when it happens. But I'm really glad that I did it because Little Nightmares 1 is one of my favorite games. If you're not familiar, it's like a horror puzzle platformer where you play as like, when the first game you play as Six, who's like a little character with a big raincoat on. The second one you play as, I think his name's Mono, and he's like a little guy with a bag on his head. And this one's heaps spookier. It's so good. I'm so much more excited for Little Nightmares 2 now when it comes out next February. But just like over the years of being a creator, obviously more opportunities come up over time, and it just feels like I'm just getting so many amazing opportunities and I'm just feeling like super grateful, especially in the midst of like all the madness in the world. I'm just feeling like really grateful for opportunities like that, especially when it's something that I'm already so in love with, like Little Nightmares. So that was really cool. And that kind of leads into my last up, which is I've had like, it's kind of a pros and a cons. So I've had like a lot of them are under NDA, so I can't specifically talk about them, but I've had lots of really great projects and opportunities coming up, and I'm kind of having to get to a point where I figure out if the opportunities are, worth having 2 less streams that week or not being able to dedicate as much time to the stream. So I think there's going to be a bit of a shift in like me as a content creator in, maybe I stream only 3 times a week and dedicate 2 of those days where I would normally be streaming to making polished content or hosting a show or, doing stuff on a different channel. And that's something that I'm kind of having to come to terms with because I've just gotten so used to like, you need to be live as much as possible to make Twitch work. But I think it's probably smarter for me to take things that are going to give me more security. So whether that's, working on a show for a sponsor, getting paid like a set salary and having that security, because obviously with stream revenue, with subs and ads and stuff like that, it fluctuates like crazy. Like there's no security in sub count. So kind of trying to dial that mentality in and understand what's going to be better for me is like, it kind of feels like a gamble because it's like, I also have to put myself out there in situations where I may not be super comfortable, like hosting something or, being in a commercial and doing this and that, but it's also going to make me grow as a creator and learn new skills.
The other way
and I don't want to have all of my eggs in one basket.
It's kind of an anti-gamble because you're going from something which is high risk, highly volatile to something which is more stable.
For sure.
Because you're contracted and there's going to be a basically an outcome for your solution that you provide.
Yeah.
Which to be honest, it's kind of like the opposite of what I'm doing, which is going from full-time 5 days a week salary security, taking one of those days and doing the 4 days a week of that, and then taking the other day to do the fitness, to do the streaming, to do the content creation. But
that's also going to fulfill you.
That's what I mean. It's also pulling me out of a deep dark hole of just mental anguish. So it's kind of like we're attacking that spectrum of risk versus reward from 2 different ends there. Which is interesting. Interesting that you should see it as such a high risk move where I'm looking at it going, that's actually, that's a smart move, and you should be more comfortable with doing something like that.
I think it's less like, it's not high risk in the sense of it paying off because I know it will. It's more high risk in the sense that I have a lot of self-doubt. I'm like, what if I can't do it well? Like, what if I'm bad at it? What if I embarrass myself? What if I go to host something and I choke live and I just like look like a dipshit? Like, there's lots of self-doubt there for sure. And that's something that I'm trying to like, something that pre-COVID, I was out there pushing myself, doing events and meeting a lot of people in person and doing things with a crew watching me and coming to terms with that type of content. And then COVID struck and I'm like, cool, now I haven't left my house in like 4 months and I'm like back in my kind of in my shell of where I started before I started doing those things. So that definitely adds to like the like, oh, I'm kind of shy again.
You know what all the fitness influencers say? What? Doubt kills more dreams than failure does. That's exactly what you're talking about there. Is that whole,
I know.
What if?
Yeah.
Well, what if? Like, you've got a solid backing.
Yeah. And it's been good. Like I did a thing with a company a couple weeks ago and the feedback was really great. Like they were like, you nailed it. And, you know, that was really great. It was a pleasure working with you. And that kind of feedback kind of like, you know, boosts my ego a little bit, which is what I need when I'm feeling a bit insecure about that kind of stuff. So I have accepted another project, which is going to be kicking off next week. That is kind of similar. And I'm not allowed to talk about it, but is going to push me to kind of perform. But it's interesting doing all this stuff remotely too. So the way that normally it would work, you'd be on a set with, you know, cameras and a director and stuff directing you. Whereas it's like now I'm recording it through my stuff because obviously the production quality that I put out has got to a level that's acceptable. And I have people on a Zoom call being like, cool, all right, let's run that again. And like they pause and they mute and it's such a different dynamic. It's been kind of neat seeing how people have been doing all of these shoots remotely through the midst of a pandemic, which none of us knew was coming. Yeah.
Nachos just said, Grace shy is absolutely unbelievable to us mere mortals. Yeah, I think that's my response to that is like what I say with most influencers. It's the tip of the iceberg that you see. This is all a show. A lot of people put on a show when the camera and the lights are on. And then, you know, in real life, when it does come down to those serious things that you've been offered, which you do have doubts about, then the shyness comes out sometimes.
Yeah. Like I feel it's kind of it's a whole topic, but obviously like on stream, I'm still me. Like I'm not putting on a complete, like I'm not Dr. Disrespect. I'm not putting on a character. But it's definitely like an exaggerated version of who I am because when I'm off stream, and I mean, Jeff, you've seen a lot of this, like I'm not like, hey, what's going on, Jeff? How we doing? Yeah, let's like do this workout. Fuck yeah. Like, yeah, hype. Like I would be so annoying if that was.
Where's the mute button on that one? I'll mute that.
Set it down. Like it's still me. Like you guys are seeing me, but it's an amped version of myself. And that's why, you know, my morning routine of putting on makeup and getting show ready isn't about my appearance. It's about getting into that persona and getting into that zone of like, all right, I'm here to put on a show. I'm here to entertain people. I'm here to like have some good vibes and have some fun. But I'm not like, I don't know, Russian or something off screen. Like I'm still me. Like trying to think of something ridiculous, but I'm still an Aussie girl that likes games. But yeah, it's just a bit of an exaggerated version.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's what I find as well with the fitness streaming that I've been doing.
Yeah.
Is me
you on stream.
Well, in not real 100%. Life. Not on, like when I'm doing a Jeff workout, like if I'm actually getting after it, I will tend to not look anyone in the eye and I won't talk to anyone because just get the fuck out of my way. I'm getting shit done. Whereas on stream, I kind of have to put on that group class instructor kind of feel.
Yeah. But when you do group classes, like if we've done a workout, you know, with multiple people in the room, you are very much who you are on stream. Like when you're doing a group session, you're like super amped and like encouraging and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what makes you a good trainer as well.
Full on all the time.
Yeah.
As I sip from a caffeine mug. Yeah. No, that's so that's cool. That's interesting. That you've got the and like you said, it's progression because if you sat doing the same thing that you're doing all the time,
I'd still be making Grand Theft Auto videos and hating my life.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That kind of leads into some of my downs. I've got more downs.
Yeah, let's talk.
So with all of the effort that I put into October, I was definitely feeling some like burnout effects of that. It was a lot of work and I was constantly, you know, like looking at horror games to play and some were better than others and, you know, making the decision to be like, this game's not really hitting. Let's end this one and try a different one kind of thing. Because horror games are so hit and miss. Like some will be hidden gems and some will just be like mechanically awful or not scary at all, just really like cringy or just relying on cheap jump scares. So horror games I feel like specifically are super hit and miss. But when they're good, they're bloody good. So
I think do you think, now this is might take us off topic, but when it comes to horror games, do you think culturally there could be like hit and miss? So like if we look at things like Korean based horror things, they kind of scare everyone equally. But do you think that there have been any games that have had sort of scares that potentially you might not like, but there would be other people that have been raised differently, nurtured differently, that are actually terrified of certain things? Do you think that's a factor in horror games?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't know. Everyone's thresholds are different, and I think for me, like someone asked when I played Amnesia Rebirth, for example, it's the third one in the series, so Dark Descent was first, and then A Machine for Pigs, and then this one. And people are like, is this as scary as a Dark Descent? It's like, well, I played that game 4 years ago, probably 5 years ago, and my threshold back then was nothing. Like, I would get scared from friggin' Slenderman. Like, over the years of playing really fucked up games like Outlast and Visage and like all the Amnesias and Evil Within and all those types of games, like my tolerance for fear and anxiety and horror is definitely like probably higher than the average. And I also have a different experience because when I'm playing it, you know, I've got ring lights and nanolives and monitors all around me. I've got chat here with me, and I'm also commentating to try and like, I've got people writing dumb jokes to like lighten the mood a bit when I'm actually kind of getting into that sense of terror. Whereas I feel like if I was playing them in a room on my own in the dark, it would be a completely different experience, and I would probably be more scared.
I've done both now and agreed. Playing by yourself without the lights.
Oh my god, like chat. Playing. Ugh. If I played like Phasmophobia on my own in VR in a dark room, fuck
VR,
no. Absolutely not. So yeah, that's definitely a factor for sure. And your own tolerance is going to play into that. Like when I started playing, I felt like I should have been more scared in Amnesia Rebirth because a lot of people in chat were like, this is fucked. And I was like, is it? I feel quite calm. Like I'm like, there's going to be a jump scare here. Yeah, there it was. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. All right, the monster's over there.
You might also find that because you've dressed yourself up and you're in character, there's no longer a safe corner of the screen with Grace there. It's now the whole game, the whole 16:9 screen in front of me is now immersed in complete horror. So I've got no safe space to look. That might have something to do with it.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that definitely adds to it. And like having a little ghost like behind me that kept moving, that kept freaking people out. Like, oh, there's a ghost that just moved. Like,
last week when we did the Phasmophobia, and I had behind me bones under the sheet. Because I wasn't used to having bones that close to me, so I'd turn around and what's that?
Yeah, because on my left as well, I have mirrors, and I was getting a glimpse in my like very far peripherals of the ghosts moving under the air conditioner. I was like, oh yeah, right, there's a ghost there.
Yep.
So, I mean, circling back to the original down, like the kind of exhaustion burnout, I think it's not over because November is going to be arguably probably more busy for me with the projects that I've got going on, and you know the PlayStation, the Xbox are only weeks away from being released, which I already have. I have the Xbox sat next to me. I haven't plugged it in yet. So I just had so much freaking going on, and I think that's part of one of the downs is like there's like nothing all year for gaming, and then it's like we're going to release 2 next-gen consoles and all the games and the Oculus Quest, which I still haven't freaking unboxed either, and it's like it's just release overload. There's just so much all chucked into one. I know they do it because they want to be competitive, and then the Christmas season is coming up and that's where all the sales are at and all that kind of stuff, but it just adds so much stress to like the end of the year, and especially with this year. I want to make Gracemas like really awesome because 2020 has been fucked for everybody, and I just want to have like a nice positive note to go out on with 2020. So yeah, it just feels like there's console releases. I'm exhausted from October. This month is going to be crazy, but I also don't want to be like not giving it my all because they're going to be some really great opportunities and like fun stuff, fun content. I think that also circles back into, you know, like working out a better structure, because I don't think streaming for 6 or 7 hours Monday to Friday and even after 5 p.m. doing emails for 3 hours or whatever is sustainable, because I need to be finding time to also film unboxings or do social posts. And I have kind of gotten back into posting more on Instagram and Twitter, like actual like pictures and content, like thought out content, not just shit posting. Which is, people underestimate the amount of time. I don't just like take a selfie and the one photo that I take is the one that I put up. I take 50 photos and then, you know, pick the best one and have product placements and things like that to keep my sponsors happy. And, you know, like it's all thought out and it takes time.
Nice.
So yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, and the other down was PUBG just fucking me.
PUBG. It felt like it was on a comeback. It felt like it was on the up a little bit.
I just felt like it was all gonna be good, and then, so for those that don't know, PUBG was the main game on this channel for me for like 2 years. And I used to play solos in first person, and I had an amazing time. It was the highest my viewership's ever been. It was the highest my sub count's ever been. It was all just going amazingly. And then all of a sudden, they put in map selection. This was 2 years ago, whatever. They put in map selection, which for our region in Australia, the servers just could not support it. There's not enough population playing the game and queuing for solos, duos, squads with 4 different map selections. So that was like a big downfall for PUBG, and I had to eventually go, you know, I need to accept that PUBG is probably over and I need to go into variety, which meant people that come to my channel expecting PUBG weren't seeing PUBG, so they generally weren't watching unless they were like the regulars that are just here for me as a creator. And that was a big hit initially. And then it started, like I took a while off of PUBG because I was just like super salty about it and like pretty depressed about it, to be honest. Like I was really bummed about it because it was doing so well for me, and I had to accept that I was going to, you know, have an eighth of the views and an eighth of the income coming in from Twitch.
Yeah.
And that it was probably a blessing in disguise because it made me adapt to that and, you know, reach out to brands to actually start to be on a salary. So I have some actual like security for my income and not just relying on sub and donations and stuff. So that was a positive, I suppose. But so we recently got back into doing PUBG, and I was doing every Tuesday. I was doing solo games in the morning in first person perspective and then custom games with everybody. As of 2 weeks ago, I think, they brought in a new update that has only third person solos, no duos, and first person squads only. So you can go in one man squads, but I can't take on 4 people in a squad. Like I'm good at the game, but I'm not amazing at it. So basically I've been trying to play third person solos, but forcing first perspective because I hate third perspective. It's just, it doesn't make sense for that game. Like you can be, they're colloquially known as wall lickers. So you'll be like trying to pull off a flank and someone can just be like standing head first at a wall behind cover and they can see you coming around the right side. So it takes away like any kind of tactical advantage by, you know, pulling off a good strategic maneuver because they can just watch you do the whole thing. And it just makes me so mad because I've been trying to play third person and it's so jarring when you're running around in third person. And when you aim in, it puts you into first person perspective through the scope. And it's like, how? Why? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, I mean, PUBG, the biggest player base is in Asia and their preference is third person. So they're obviously playing to the market, which I totally understand. From a business perspective, I get it. But for me, it just felt like OC solos was getting good again. Like they added bots, which was fine. But when you got into, you know, the top 15 or so, it was normally like 15 people. So it was kind of like, cool, get some fodder, get some bots, like get the rust off. And then in the top 15, it's fucking go time. But now it's like...
So are there still competitive leagues and things? Are there still events where they do like fight or flight and those sorts of things, or more ESL type stuff? Are there still leagues in PUBG?
I mean, yeah, there's still competitive PUBG players, but I can't play against them.
I was going to say, are competitive PUBG players third person as well? Or I would have thought they were all first person.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't know how that's... I don't really keep up with the competitive stuff. But, I mean, with COVID, there's obviously no events, so they're doing a lot of stuff online. But yeah, I mean, they probably have custom games anyway, so they can force whatever they want. But they brought in the new map. That was the whole patch. It was like season 9, I think, for PUBG, and they brought in the new Panama map, which is like a volcano, and it's dynamic, so it changes. Like the locations kind of change each time you play it, which is kind of cool. And but I can't play it because it's only third person squads. or first person squads or something. I can't remember. There was like, I couldn't get games for it anyway. So it's just like, it was looking so good. And then they just pulled out the blanket from under me or the rug from under me and just fucked my day up. So yeah, I've been trying to get used to third person, but I don't know. Custom games have been amazing though. Like on a plus, we started messing with the sandbox mode and I've had some of the best custom games that we've ever done. So that's been really fun. So awesome. I mean, as with everything, I've had to adapt and try to still make it fun because Apex is kind of in a weird spot. There is a new update that we might check out if we have time tonight, but it's already 1:00, so probably not. Yeah, the new season, there's a new map, there's vehicles. Like Apex was in a bit of a weird spot with cheaters and servers and stuff, but I'm hoping that the new season is going to kind of revitalize that. So maybe I'll try to jump into it. There was, that's another down, the bloody crossplay that didn't end up being actually crossplay. So yeah,
we should probably switch over to tech news because we're talking a lot about the games there. So we'll flick over that one now.
Yeah,
tech talk.
Tech talk.
So what's that about the crossplay? What's happened?
So Apex for a long time was like, yeah, we're going to do crossplay. It's going to be sweet. Everyone's going to be able to play together. And I was like, yes, this is going to be like the moment where the OC servers are revived and we can actually play on Sydney servers. But alas, crossplay came out. And so there's one pool for console. So Xbox and PlayStation players can play against one another. PC, though, is still on its own in a separate pool. So they don't want to put PC players up against console players. In their statement, it was like, for obvious reasons, but it works for everybody else. Like it works for Warzone. Warzone has crossplay. The way that it's balanced is that console has aim assist. Like, I think that's a fair trade. And people that are good, that play on console, are good at the game. They would love nothing more than to delete people on PC because they get to flex on people and be like, I beat the PC players who have keyboard and mouse, which arguably is more precise. But they didn't even like it. So, and you can also opt in and out to crossplay. So I don't see why they didn't just include all players because there was some stat. It was something along the lines of like 70% of people that play Apex are on console. So for PC people, that would have opened up so much more like of a player base for us to connect with. So like a PlayStation person can queue up with a PC player, but they'll go onto PC servers. So if a PC player was to queue with a PS person, you're not going to go into console. You're just going to go into the PC only pools. So there will be the odd person that might be playing with someone on PC who's on console, but for the most part, it didn't help the servers at all.
No.
And
that
was the moment where I was like, this is it.
To dial it back as well, to explain to people that maybe don't know why we should care about that sort of thing. The whole downfall for PUBG for you was because they diluted the player base, and servers don't kick off unless there's a certain number of people in a BR server.
Yeah, so there's 60 people in an Apex match, so you need 60 players at that time queuing for that playlist.
Correct.
And when it starts to get diluted with solos, duos, and squads in different maps, it starts to become really complicated because Australia is a very small country population-wise compared to, NA.
Yeah, and so you're now forced to play in overseas servers, which means your experience is less than ideal. So the whole thing with them announcing that they'll add crossplay would mean that, oh look, we're finally going to be able to hit 60 people in our servers, but now not the case.
Yeah, so the main thing that is hard with Apex is obviously it's a very fast-paced game and there's precision involved when you're shooting someone and you're shooting at their head. If you've got 200 ping, their head's not where their head looks to be. And that's a big problem. So we're playing on, Singapore or Tokyo servers with 100 to 200 ping, and they're very small pools as well, especially when you start to get up into the ranked things, which is what I was playing in. So the way that ranked works, there's like bronze, silver, gold, diamond, or platinum, diamond, master, whatever. So the best players on the platform are like masters and predators. And because we were playing on Tokyo servers, which is such a small population, up into, the diamond, platinum ranks, because there's so few people to fill those games, instead of being placed against people at our skill level in Platinum and Diamond, we were playing against the top 500 in the world. So I'm just getting absolutely fucking deleted. So it's like, we don't get to play on local servers. We have to play on foreign servers, which have super high ping, and we're playing against people who are much, much better than us. So it just makes the whole experience really shitty. Like, I know people be like, well, don't play ranked, but it's like, I want to rank up. Like,
I want to rank.
That's why I want to play.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So it's just been really frustrating because as well, like with Apex, EA were really big supporters of my stream and they were willing to do sponsor streams every week, which again, as adding to that security and giving me like a paycheck every week that I could count on. But because the game is in a state where there was a lot of cheaters that were, you know, using aimbots, speed hacks, all that kind of stuff, wall hacks, all that kind of stuff, like making that experience really tough and also not having local servers, I was like, I just don't feel right about promoting the game when I'm not happy with where it's at right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's something that I've always tried to maintain with my integrity with promoting stuff is that I always promote stuff that I'm genuinely like, this is fucking dope. Like, I love Apex. I love the game at its core, but the current state of it a few months ago when I was, when I turned down like a 12-week long thing of getting consistent paychecks, I just didn't feel right about promoting it because it wasn't in a state that I was happy with. So I wasn't going to be like, hey guys, you should play Apex. This is a really fun experience right now when it was like making me want to die. So yeah, that was the thing.
Integrity. That's what it's about.
Imagine if influencers had integrity.
Whoa. So I suppose while we're on the tech talk there, we just had a question in from chat from Nacho Pants, and it's the tech area. So he goes, with new consoles, etc. around the corner, but for him, not as a streamer, the appeal of the console is sitting on the couch, literally getting away from the PC on your desk.
Yep.
It implies a casual experience. So car games, etc., that sort of thing. The question is, as a pro streamer, do you find it actually hard to kick back and relax and play games for genuine fun offline with your buddies? Like the casual game type stuff. Do you find that hard to do? Or are there certain types of games you'd be playing to relax with?
Yeah. It's one of those things like when gaming starts to become your job, it's kind of like anything like for you with fitness. Like as soon as it starts to become a job or a task, like writing a program might not be as exciting for you now that you've done hundreds of them as to when it was like when you first started, when you were just kind of, you know, messing around with it for fun. I still like, it's kind of different because video games are literally designed for fun. So being able to earn an income and have a job in a field that is like ultimately entertainment is a bit different. But like some of the best moments over the last few months has been jumping in Discord and playing Jackbox and having a few like bevies off stream with people from the community, because like my stream's a little different to like bigger streamers, I suppose, where like, you know, their viewers are kind of just like its own thing. But like people in chat right now, like they're kind of like my friends and family, really. Like I see them on pretty much 5 days a week and we connect on and offline, and like being able to do that, I think Discord has been an amazing tool for enjoying games again, because there's not a lot of games that you can even really play on the couch. Like couch co-op games are kind of being phased out a little bit.
That's really annoyed me. That has annoyed me a lot. Because like everything's online, that they have online capabilities and online multiplayer capabilities. But when it comes down to actually, I'm not even talking about split screen. Split screen was fun, but just having two people on one couch in one premises playing a game together, it's really hard to find those games now.
It is, yeah. It's like you look up a list and there's like 3 games you can play with your friends in person. It's like,
yeah.
I hate them all. Awesome. But yeah, it's I think that's why consoles are really neat as well, because a lot of people have kind of got to that point with PCs. And for me as well, like this space that I'm currently in is my office and it's where I work on a daily basis. So having a space, whether it's, you know, the couch with the console, or I use my iPad so much to play Runeterra, like sit on the couch with the cats on my lap and play Runeterra. Like that's kind of my ultimate like chill zone. I play on my own though. I don't really play with people. So it is nice having that disconnect, but for me, obviously it's very different. Not everybody is a full-time streamer. From like a general like consumer perspective, it kind of just depends on your environment, I suppose. Like not everybody has 2 dedicated gaming spaces. Like most people just have like their couch or their office or whatever.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see how the new consoles work into that though, because they're bloody big. They're not going to fit anybody's entertainment units.
Yeah, that was my first thought, was that it's not going to fit those little, because I mean, if you're of the old school like me, and you had entertainment units designed for DVD players and things, they got slimmer and slimmer and slimmer.
Little slot in the front. Yeah.
Now you got to try and fit a bar fridge in there. It's
pretty big.
It's interesting. And you're also going to need a lot of ventilation. I think that became apparent with the first next gen Xbox, the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Where, you know what? Like, if there's not enough ventilation, the solar's going to melt and you're going to get 3 red lights, and it's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah, the PS4 before the Pro was like a bloody jet taking off.
Yeah. So
I think the new ones have a lot of, like, the Xbox, the whole top of it is a giant fan. So I'm thinking it's going to be a bit better. But again, if you're going to try and shove it into a unit where the top of it's covered, wouldn't recommend that.
Or even worse, what I've seen people do, just have them on the carpet next to the TV.
No, not on the carpet.
Don't do that. No.
If you're going to do that, at least get one of those like IKEA plastic things to put it.
Yeah,
so it's not sucking in carpet into its fans.
Yeah. The amount of dust. I had a trackpad error come up on my laptop the other day, and I popped it open just to have a look. One of the troubleshooting steps is to undo the battery, and I popped it open, and it was full of dust and crud and everything. I'm like, oh. So yeah, stuff gets.
How often do you think people clean out their laptop fans? Never.
Never. And I mean, I work in IT, and I used to be on the service desk. I've done my hard yards there, so I'm not there anymore. But when we'd get customer laptops in, I'd almost put gloves on just to handle a few of those things.
Yeah, some people's like,
how do you get cornflakes under a keyboard?
Just intently looking at the screen, munching the cornflakes, like, oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh. And there's just like little, you can see the F and the J keys are covered in orange Cheeto dust as well. Just from
Doritos and Mountain Dew, keeping the stereotypes going.
Nah, but honestly, people, keep your electronics clean, please. We're on Tech Talk. Yep.
That's why, like, I love having the cats on stream, but I'm also, every time they come in, I'm like, oh, so much hair. God, I love them, but this is a no cat zone. I like my stuff to be tidy and clean and not covered in cat hair.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
Bajo having his cat sitting on top of his PC, I'm like, it hurts me.
That does my head in.
It hurts me.
I mean, it's fair he's got a sponsor. He can
it's adorable.
PC when he wants as well, but
it hurts me.
Yep.
Oh no, protein shake inside a machine was my worst one I ever opened. Ew, Nate.
Holy crap.
Horrid.
Oh man.
Horrid.
Nacho Pants just ask, are we Apple people or not Apple people? I try not to discern, Nacho, when it comes to
I use both
tech.
for different purposes. Like, I love my iPad, it's the best thing, and I have an iPhone, so.
I said this to an engineer last week, and he's like, I like that a lot. I said, I like to swim in both lanes with those ones. Because I use an Apple phone.
Yeah.
I've got like 4 MacBooks around my premises. I use Apple. I've got iPads and all sorts of stuff. But then
it's
I
tasty
use the PC
fruit
for streaming.
Lots of variety.
Haven't seen the Doctor in a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, people's loyalty to a brand that obviously gives no shits about them. I don't really get it. Like, PlayStation and Xbox, who the fuck cares? Just play whichever one you want.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
have both. Have Nintendo Switch as well. Who the fuck cares? Just use whatever works for you. Like, I don't understand the rivalry with systems and Android and iOS and whatever. Just who cares?
The one thing I do like about ecosystems is the ecosystems they build. So, I mean, this is the tech talk answer for you, Nacho, is that on a Windows machine, I actually use Microsoft Edge because I can link up all of my accounts between my 17 laptops and desktops, and I've got everything there.
Oh, flexing 17 laptops. Wow, look at this guy.
So much RAM in the motherboard.
You need to download some more RAM, Jeff. Go on.
Download more from the cloud. When it comes to the Apple products though, I've got my kids both have Apple devices, and so I've got like a family sharing account, so I can basically, they can request to buy stuff off of me. I can vet what they're installing on their machines, and I can accept and buy things for them. So that's all part
Has
of the
requested
ecosystem.
Fortnite denied.
Fortnite denied. No.
No, not in this house.
Exactly. So yeah, Nacho, this is just me. You've told me a million times not to exaggerate, so I did. I'm sorry.
How dare you exaggerate for comedic value?
It's just. But yeah, that's the quick answer. I think tech should be used for its purposes. I like music production on Apple devices, and I like streaming from Windows devices. So that's my answer.
I think it's fine. Like, it's 100% fine to have your preference, but I think when it starts to become like a rivalry thing and you're putting people down, you use Apple. Oh, what a loser. Like, shut up. It doesn't affect you. Like, Jesus. It just,
You drive a Holden?
That's lame. Yeah, I hate it. It's so silly. Like, for me, like, having all the consoles is kind of a necessity, because if there's an exclusive that comes out, I want to be able to play it. Like, I don't really have an allegiance. I think the PlayStation is probably going to be the king of this gen, just because exclusives on Xbox are going to be across PC because Microsoft. So I think from a console world, I think the PS5 is probably going to be the winner in terms of
when it comes
sales
to making
and stuff, I suppose.
The choice, because not everyone has the money to have everything. I understand that as well. I think when it comes to making the choice between one of the two, it needs to be an intelligent discussion or an intelligent approach to that sort of thing. So whether we're talking about Apple or whatever devices or console you want to buy or the car you're going to buy, all those sorts of things, it really does have to be a personalized exercise. You need to go through the pros and cons and why are you actually getting this. It's much like the fitness. Why are you doing certain things, and what's going to fit those for your budget. So I would never go, I'm going to go get a Samsung phone because all of my friends say it's awesome. It's like, really? Is that the best reason to do that?
Yeah.
So
Jerry, use an Apple, you sheep. I have another major cell phone and it's better. So accurate.
Oh, Nacho, you got so many good questions. When you eventually buy your own land, design your own house, how do you prioritize from top to bottom? Big telly, amazing PC, amazing sound system, incredibly kitchen stuff. Oh, can I touch on that on the fitness section? I'd actually like to touch on that in the fitness section, because there's what they call there's a hierarchy of human needs. And it's a pyramid. So I would actually like to speak more on that a bit later.
Write it down, otherwise you'll forget.
Yeah, okay. Let me put it into the thing. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, yeah.
Let me put it into my fitness notes right here.
I think that's pretty good for tech, though. I mean, apart from... I'm not going to go into depth. Like, I think in the last episode, we spoke about the fact that I was getting an Oculus Quest. I haven't unboxed it yet. Haven't had time. But excited to do so. It seems like a really great, affordable piece of tech. And so far, what I've seen with the reviews, it seems like people are really into it, which is cool. The only downside that people seem to be really pissed about is the fact you have to have Facebook, make a dummy account, make it John Smith. Yeah. Just who gives a shit? They're not going to...
People just look for things to get upset about, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Meanwhile, they've got Twitter and Instagram. Like, I'm not getting Facebook.
You can't track me. I've got a smartphone.
I have a driver's license. Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's a pretty good place to.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of things to because you've got your gaming stuff. A few things I want to mention. Yeah, there's Twitch have had some big updates. One of the most exciting things that I've noticed, and you know what? I've actually got one right now. I'm gonna click on it and have a quick look.
Ban request.
Yeah, ban request. Unban request. I'll have to check it later. It's not going to let me look on this screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Twitch has implemented. So for your channel, Grace, we had built a form.
A Google Doc.
Yeah, it was mainly for
lols.
Yeah, it was for comical reasons. But we did also want to give people a chance if they were unfairly dismissed or if they were
Nate said Jeff should definitely not read the one in FFT.
Okay, I won't read it. I won't take a look then.
Oh dear.
I'll look at it later. Later. I'll look at it later. But yeah, it's implemented its own form of unbanning requesting now, which is kind of cool. So all the mods can view it as a whole. So I'll see why later. Okay. Oh dear.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, it takes away one of the things that we had manually for people to click through where they can just do it. Having said that, we both know that people on the internet generally aren't willing to take responsibility for the things that they say. They think that they have, entitlement to say whatever the fuck they want because I'm not a human being or you're not a human being with feelings.
Yeah.
But
I often humor people, and when they whisper me saying, "Hey, unban me," I'll often engage in discussion and just see what I'm dealing with. There's only one person that I've unbanned ever. But literally the next stream that they came on, they proved why they were banned in the first place, and they got rebanned. So I've lost, not that I've lost faith, because I still enjoy having a laugh at people that do whisper me. But
isn't that crazy though? Like, I feel like that's crazy. Like, it bums me out so much that people can't show any kind of remorse. Like, they're you know, for me especially, most of the people that get banned are people that are being like sexually gross towards me, and they'll be like, nice boobs, and I'm like, fucking just get out, you're not gonna fit in. And, you know, in the ban forms, they're like, all I said was nice boobs. It's like, you can't even take a second just to understand why that's inappropriate. Like, you can't you can still watch the stream when you're banned. Do you not understand how to read the room and understand that I am here for, like, connecting to my audience and building a relationship with everybody and connecting over the fact that we all love games and playing the games and sharing the stories together? Like, I'm not here to date you or anything like that. And it just seems crazy to me that so many people struggle to understand that that's, like, I come across as a bitch because I tell people that I don't want you to be like, hey, you're hot. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to be spoken to that way, and I'm allowed to express that. It doesn't make me an asshole. I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to, you know, like, the things that have been happening in the Discord lately, like, you know, people coming in and just promoting their own servers, or coming in and having no idea how to have a conversation. I'm genuinely trying to help these people understand why, when someone asks, hey, how you doing? And you just say, good, you've completely fucked the conversation and you've shown no interest in anybody else in the community. You're just being selfish. You're just here for your own selfish reasons. And understanding why that's not, like, a nice person to come across on the internet. Like,
yeah,
that's not how you'd want to be spoken to. You wanted people to have a conversation with you and ask how you were, but you weren't willing to, you know, extend the olive branch and also care about them. And so many people seem to not know how to talk to people, or, you know, I'll try and give somebody advice and it's like, oh, this is a really hostile environment, I'm gonna go. And it's like,
yeah.
What?
And Nacho Pants is raising some good points as well. And I think a lot of this,
he's on fire today.
And a lot of the discussion we have do hark back to that book. And if you haven't seen that episode yet, Nacho, go back to it, where we reviewed Women Don't Owe You Pretty. Because what he's said is that he's not sure if it's an edgy point. I don't think it is. But the thing that blows his mind on your stream, Grace, is that you don't ham it up like all the others do, in quotations. So you can be an attractive person, you can do your job, you can do yourself up because you feel good on stream, without wanting to go into the realm of, you know what, I'm out here to date, or I'm peacocking or anything like that. So it's there's an integrity, there's an accountability there on your side. There's a professionalism as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are going to use the tools that they have as well. And like we spoke about with that book review as well, like, women have been, you know, seen as sexual objects for such a long time, and just things for the male gaze that, you know what, some women go, fuck it, I'm going to use it, I'm going to make a shitload of money out of it. And you know what, that's their choice, and that's fine. Like, if you want to start an OnlyFans and make $200,000 a month, sick. Like, use the tools that you have, because people are going to fucking buy it. And if you want to live your life and you're happy doing that, fucking
how much can I make on OnlyFans?
Lots of fucking money, apparently.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if you, it just depends what you're comfortable with. Like, that's not for everybody. And I've chosen a route where, you know, I am seen as being, like, harsh for banning people for, you know, giving me compliments that I don't want. And that's my choice. And maybe my channel would be 10 times the size if I just allowed chat to be the Wild West. But it would be a fucking uncomfortable environment for me to come to every day and have to deal with every day. I'd rather have 100 genuine people in the chat that actually give a shit about me, and I just see it to possibly see my boobies.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it might be a downfall in the long run in terms of, like, my revenue from subs, because, you know, there might be a guy that thinks he's got a chance with me and is going to gift 500 subs every month, but I'd rather have an actual connection with people. And, you know, when someone asks me what headset I use, I know that they actually give a shit about my perspective, because I know the ins and outs of tech. I've used a number of different products. I've been in this industry since 2012. Like, They come to me because I actually have a brain and an opinion that they care about. It's not because I'm pretty or cute or whatever the fuck they want to call me.
No, that's fair. Good points.
You gotta. I always get ranty in this one, but
No,
grinds my gears.
Yeah. No, I know when to not talk.
Yeah.
It'll just
Let me say my piece.
Anyway, so it's fine.
Okay.
No, well, that's what this is about, right? Pipe up. This is your chance. This is your chance to speak, and I'll let you speak. And it's great. It's great.
Yeah, and I think it's like Dresden made a good point. Like, I think people. Some streamers, asterisk, obviously there's exceptions and not everybody does this, but like some streamers just will let people say whatever they want to them to not turn them away so they have, high viewership, more sub count, whatever. And that's fine. But I think it's led to a culture in Twitch where people aren't used to being called out for bad behavior. They don't know how to take it. They don't know how to be like, wait, I said a thing on the internet and now I'm banned? Like, what do you mean? All I said was this. And they don't actually understand how to process, hey, what you said was shitty because, that made this person feel such a way, or, it wasn't in line with the expectations from you as a viewer in Twitch chat, which in some communities, there are actual expectations of you to not do certain things. You can't just say the N-word. You can't call people, a derogatory term for being homosexual or anything in my chat. It's not fucking acceptable. And I think people just aren't used to being called out, and they generally don't know what to do about it. And if they've been raised in a household where, there may not be super present parent figures, they haven't been told how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And like I'm always trying to give people benefit of the doubt, but I don't think there's actually been an instance where it's paid off.
Can I make mention of something as well? Is that during times of high stress and when there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, like giving someone the benefit of the doubt actually takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of effort. And I will often find that there are times when I've been hit with just so much crap to deal with from other people that sometimes it's really hard to give people the benefit of the doubt as well. And it can often be like miscommunications that they're actually mean to say something in a certain way, but because text is so homogenous, the way that it actually comes across, you just don't
interpretation and context is everything. Like you could read someone's comment and be like, that's really hostile. But it's like, no, not at all. Like the intention was not hostility whatsoever. But I know for me, like, especially I've been feeling it over the last couple of weeks, like just being super busy and putting my everything into the stream. Especially during PUBG. It always happens during PUBG. Like it's a high stress game. I'm already kind of like on edge. And then, a couple people will come in together and just prod me in a certain way that really rubs me the wrong way. And I'll be like, you know what? Just fuck off. Like just fucking get banned. Get out of my fucking face. And like, on another day where maybe I've slept better and I've eaten well and I've done a workout in the morning, I may react completely differently to that. But
and you know what?
I'm a friggin' human, man.
Yeah, and they're the instances that I think the unban request form would be useful.
100%.
Because if someone's like, hey, look, I was actually banned on a certain day, I don't think it was right. And if you word it well, where they're not going to say she was a bitch on that day and I got banned. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if that situation has ever arisen, and sometimes I often go back, like if I feel like I didn't handle a situation, if I feel like I was too emotional or let my anger kind of overtake and lash out at somebody in chat that wasn't deserving of it, I'll go back the next day when I've had a good sleep and I've got a fresh mind. I'll go back to that part in the VOD and be like, do I stand by what I said still? 99% of the time I'm like, yeah.
There's also the question, and again, Nacho's a fantastic conversation buddy in here. Nacho's had a really good point too, in that there's also a rapport that you can build up with people. And you and I have touched on this in terms of the group chats that we've had for gaming and things, where Nacho said he's fine to actually come in and say, hey Jeff, you look like a chopper chop that's been dropped on the floor. But if a stranger came up to me and said, Jeff, you look like shit, I'd be like, whoa, hang on.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
100%.
There's the rapport that you build up, and that's another part of the whole a part of the whole social interaction that people need to learn is that you kind of level up your trust levels. With
for sure. You can't just walk into a stream like, hey, cunt, how's it going? It's like, I don't know you. So that comes across really like rude. But, you know, I banter with Dresh and Ali and like pay them out until the cows come home and they can take it because we give it back and forth and we've built a rapport over the last, how long you been subbed? A year and a half, 20 months. Like you can't just... Yeah, I don't know. It's I've been wanting to make kind of like Twitch etiquette videos, but it's the same thing with like feminism and all that kind of stuff. It's like the people that need to know this are not self-aware and they're not going to watch this video and they're not going to give a shit and learn anything because they don't know how cringy they are. I don't know how to word it. Like it's really hard to reach those people because, you know, the few times that we have tried, whether it's been on FFP or in my channel, trying to help people see why what they said was unacceptable and then maybe trying to rectify it and like, you know, hell, apologizing. No, they can't fathom it. They don't understand. They just want to say, I did nothing wrong. It's like, no, but you need to understand if I'm telling you that the way that you spoke to me was unacceptable and upset me or, you know, disrespected my community, you don't get to deny that. You take it and you either change and grow and continue being a part of the community or you fuck off and go somewhere else where it's lawless. Yeah, like that's
exactly,
pretty much it.
Exactly.
Like,
yep.
The bans are earned; they're not right. Exactly.
And there's a lot of ego, and this is one of my huge flaws is that sometimes it's just bants, but my ego will take a hit, and I'll be like, oh well, fuck off then. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with ego, and just being able to drop that when you go into any situation, and then reading the room, and all that sort of stuff. So,
I think as well, like trying to. And it's something that I'm trying to be better at as well is like when I read something in chat, obviously, as you mentioned, it is text and it's like super, it can be interpreted anyway. I think it's probably a best practice to assume that they mean the most lighthearted thing possible, rather than reading and being like, fuck you.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to anyone, but what I like to do is if there's something that comes across in text these days and I read it and I'm like, whoa, that's offensive. I'll often have I'll reread it in my mind, but read out by someone like Pee Wee Herman or William Shatner, and just see how they would read it out to me and see if it would change and become more comical. Because that's a way of I suppose maybe dropping the guard a little bit and seeing if it is meant one way or another. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's better to be cautious about like bantering. If you feel like you haven't earned it yet, it's probably better to be more on the cautious side. But from someone that has chatted with you on multiple times over game chat, you're cool, man. You're good.
Yeah.
If Twitch made you use your real names, honestly, I don't think it'd be any different because Facebook gaming is a thing and people are still fucking whack on Facebook. So I think the I can't say this word. Anonymity of the internet.
Anonymity.
Anemones. Definitely plays into, you know, people having the cojones to be like super outrageous and abusive to people. But at the end of the day, shit cunts can be shit cunts. I don't think they care if their identity's out there or not.
yeah, that's right.
Quote of the day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So I think that's cool with the tech stuff. That's all I really wanted to touch on there is some of the updates coming to Twitch. Another tech thing that I suppose I can announce I'm working on for your stream, Grace, is there an updated raffle bot, which is going to be fantastic.
Proven to be a bit of a piece of shit to make.
Now, most scripting is right, but this is the script itself is fine. You know what the piece of shit is? It's the Twitch API, and I'm happy to say that out loud. The Twitch API is shit.
That's no secret, yeah.
So yeah, that's just the thing.
Did you want to talk about Rockstar as well?
Oh, I did. Just wanted to make a quick mention. Yeah, just touch on it that the Rockstar actually purchased Ruffian Games. Now, did you ever play the oh look, I can't even remember what the game's called now. It's the I didn't write it down in my notes. Ruffian Games did the whoa, this is gone. Okay, one sec.
It was Shock. System Shock?
No.
What was it?
Ruffian Games, Rockstar. Here we go. They were the developer of... Nope. It's gone. Oh, look. Yeah. Crackdown.
Yes.
Was the one. So Crackdown was one of those games that it didn't really go under the radar. I think it was one of the launch titles for the Xbox 360. But I'm so happy that Rockstar have picked it up because it's basically like a futuristic Grand Theft Auto, but you're one of the cops. So,
That's cool.
It's really, really cool. And you basically you're like a cybernetic guy that unlocks different abilities. So you can do the hero landing and smash people away and do really cool stuff. So that was just a really quick one I wanted to mention because for me who doesn't get a lot of time to play games, Crackdown is something that I would definitely put some time into if it would have come out, or a new Crackdown type game done through Rockstar I think would be really, really, really good. So yep. So that was a quick game news from Jeff.
Probably worth touching on as well. I didn't write it down, but Cyberpunk again being delayed. A lot of people up in arms about it. I mean, the game's going to come out when it comes out. That was always the thing from the start. Unfortunately, they made the mistake of being like a few people would tweet at them being like, cool, I'm taking off a week of work. Can you confirm no more delays? And the guy on Twitter's like, yeah, no more delays. This is the date. And then like a couple of days later, they're like, oi, guys, the game's going to be delayed again. So, I mean, people have shifted their leave time 3 times already. So, yeah, it's... I mean, for me, I'm kind of glad it's delayed because there's so much happening in November. I was not ready for it. We've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out next week, so I'm kind of glad that Cyberpunk is later in the... I can't believe that's next week. Watch Dogs also just came out, which I've got a code for that I haven't freaking played yet. This time of year is just like... It's such a first world problem, and it's an amazing problem to have, but there's just too many games coming out that I can't dedicate enough time to. But yeah, Cyberpunk being delayed to later in December. I mean, at least more people will be on holidays, and if they get time off, then they've got more time to jump into it. But they really shot themselves in the foot by like reiterating, this is the date, and then a month later or a couple weeks later being hey, about that. Because Twitter's like, people got to be mad if you do that shit. Yeah. You can't go back and
guarantee it wasn't actually an engineer that said that. It would have been like a marketing person or someone else.
It was just like excited about it and has been told from the higher ups like, yep, this is the date.
Yep, building hype, etc. But it's really, really, really dangerous to make guarantees like that.
Yeah. It's like a doctor being like, promise you that your significant other is going to pull through the surgery with 100% recovery. It's like, you can't say that. You don't know. Like, shit happens.
Yeah. Ugh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So we can move on to now, I think, the pipe up picks. What's some stuff that you've been getting into?
I know, freaking Call of Duty's coming out soon as well. I'm going to dedicate so much time to zombies. Can't wait. There's so many games. So picks, pipe up picks. So I've got a big section about games. We can do that a little bit later. Just like the worthwhile horror games to play. But pipe up picks, we watched Kim's Convenience.
I love that.
That's
so much.
Probably more you can talk about that more. Because you can relate to that a little more, I think.
Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned much about it. If you haven't seen Kim's Convenience, the premise is it's a sitcom where you've got a Korean family running a convenience store in Canada. So it's I think you'll agree with me. The first episode that the pilot, when you start watching that,
you're like, Phew.
Can you say that? Are you allowed to say that?
This is not politically correct.
Are you allowed to do that? And it does kind of take that approach. It feels like it takes the approach of, look, it's okay. I'm Asian. I can say that. Which I can say because I'm Asian, by the way, chat. But it feels like it's taking that approach. But what it does is it builds a lot of jokes and a lot of scenarios around like the kids having Asian parents and potentially the faux pas that you can not only with race, but with also like sexism and homophobia and that sort of thing. So those sorts of faux pas there as well, which can get quite interesting. Did my voice just cut out? I've got a red light.
Nah, your stream just kind of buffered, but I think you're okay.
Okay, easy, cool.
It was interesting. Like, I think they did it in a way that didn't come across as offensive. Like the parents would say something kind of derogatory towards like the LGBTQI plus, and then the daughter would be like, whoa, like you can't do that. This is why that's kind of fucked up, and why, like, you know, the old kind of mentality is no longer acceptable, and this is how you would go about that to be like more politically correct. And I think it was a cool way to handle it, because I think most of us has kind of been through that. Like my parents, you know, they were born in the 60s, and they have some pretty like old mentalities, and I'm like, if I have to talk like politics or race or anything with my family, I'm just like, I can't be bothered. It's just too much. It's just too much that I need to fix. Yeah, for sure. I'm glad. Luckily, my family's not super religious, so I don't have to try and navigate that minefield. But yeah, it's yeah. I just try to keep no real talk. It's just yes, the weather's fantastic today, isn't it? Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But I think Kim's Convenience did it in a way that I don't know if people of the generation of the parents watching it would actually learn anything, but I feel like it used comedy to kind of teach a lesson in a way that wasn't like cringy. And it's also made by like the Canadian equivalent of like the ABC, which I'm very surprised about, because there's some parts that are like kind of edgy, but you wouldn't expect like a government body to make it. You know what I mean?
It's quite progressive as a government funded.
I think that's Canada though. I think Canada is quite progressive.
Yeah. So the other thing I should mention too is actually based off of a play. So it was originally a play done at like a theatrical, not convention, but like a theatrical festival kind of thing. And yeah, they took that, and the producers actually created a character out of it, and yeah, put it to air. And so I suppose I would definitely, the way I'm describing it, hopefully conveys the fact that I would definitely recommend watching it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. If you've not
I would definitely recommend it. It was just like a good, fun watch for sure.
So, I mean, with so much going on in our lives, I think you're the same as me, Grace. It was good to watch something lighthearted and fun. There are a lot of really deep things at the moment which potentially could go on the watch list. But I think that one was well worth the laughing downtime.
Yeah. I also like, for me, most of the time, because I don't have a whole lot of like quote unquote free time, if I'm watching something, I'm not like 100% honed into it. I'm multitasking. I'm playing Runeterra at the same time. I'm like hanging out with the cats or whatever. Not like, I really struggle. That's why I want to watch more anime, but I struggle because it's all subtitles and I can't dedicate the time to watch it. Having said that, also did watch. Oh my God, you've hit your Movember goal.
Sorry?
You've hit your Movember goal.
Hang on. Was Kim's Convenience on Netflix or was it on
Netflix? Yeah.
Yep. Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Wait a second. What?
Dallas Bioacid has just donated $100.
Goodness, what?
That's amazing.
Oh,
absolute legend.
Well, there we go. $2,000 for the team, and that means another 1,000 burpees.
Does it?
At some point. Yeah, before the end of the month.
Yo, bye. Thank you so much, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Everyone that donated that I wasn't watching there, huge thank you. I suppose not to hijack the conversation, but Movember is very, very important.
That's okay.
Fitness and health, but yeah, men's health stuff. Suicide prevention, depression, and prostate and testicular cancer awareness.
Yeah, we were gonna probably touch on it again.
Yeah, we can touch on
during the fitness stuff.
But yeah. That's cool. Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. Nice. Thank you.
So good. So yeah, often multitasking. Anime things though. Did watch season 2 of, was it season 2 or season 3 of Agretsuko? So good. So good. 3. Watch it.
Oh my goodness.
It was amazing.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
It kind of came up really fast. I remember at the end of season 2, I was Googling. I was like, are they making season 3? And I thought it would take heaps longer for them to make it, but it was so good.
You know what I really enjoyed about Agretsuko season 3 was that when you first get into Agretsuko, the first season, it's about a death metal, whatever she is, Red Panda or something, and it looks at the death metal genre and how funny it is to have death metal in an office scene. But I think with the third one, I really enjoyed the fact that more genres of music were introduced into it. There were death metal performances, there were J-pop performances, there were punk rock performances. I really liked the punk rock scenes. They were really, really good. So yeah, I enjoyed the fact that they were diversifying the stereotypes there.
It's really digestible as a series as well, because the episode's like 20 minutes long. So I mean, I think I watched the season in like 2 days because it was only like a couple of hours of actual content. But if you just want something fun, it does have I'm not sure if there's dubs. I'm not sure if it's only in Japanese. I don't know. I always listen or watch watch anime in their native language with English subtitles. And yeah, Agretzko, so worth it. I didn't know. I remember always seeing commercials for it and being like, what is this? This is so freaking random.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm just gonna watch it. Like, forget it. Let's just give it a try. And then yeah, absolutely fell in love with it. It's so funny. It's so quirky. It's so good. Love it.
Yep, that's a good one. Nice. What else I have on the? Oh,
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek. That was a good one too. So
yeah, a lot of people suggested it, and
I'd started watching it years ago.
Yeah,
and I couldn't get into it from the pilot, and I think this is just a testament to my lack of patience, where I dropped it because I really couldn't get into it. But getting back into it now, after having heard multiple people say you've got to give it a chance, it starts off slow. Yeah, I am converted. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the dynamic between David and Alexis is like my favorite thing ever. I love those characters so much. Like, I don't know if
What's the premise?
Like
for people who haven't seen it, you can explain that.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't take that long to warm up. I don't know. I was just kind of into it. They're basically a really wealthy family, find out that their business advisor or accountant or whatever screwed them over and they lose everything. But as a gag for David, the son's birthday, the father had bought him a town called Schitt's Creek as like a joke birthday present. But because they'd bought it, it was one of the only assets that they got to keep. So they own the town and they decided to move to it because it's the only thing that they have. They lost their house. They lost all their stuff. So they moved to this little town in fucking nowhere with a population of like 100 people or something. And the mayor is like, it's just, I don't want to really spoil anything,
part of
but
the Schitt family. And
yeah.
Roland Schitt.
Yeah, Roland Schitt. And so he's the guy from Scary Movie that like, take my strong hand. It's that guy. And it's hilarious. Yeah, it's Schitt's Creek. So SCHITT.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just funny. And there's 4 seasons, I think. I have literally got the last episode to watch. I just can't finish it. I don't want it to be over.
This is your fear of to the end.
I've got 2 episodes of Mad Men left. I've got like 1 episode of How to Get Away with Murder left. I've got like 1 episode of Schitt's Creek. I can't end shows. It makes me depressed. I hate it. I can't do it. But yeah, so that was a fun one. Again, nice, easy watch. So everyone in chat that recommended it, thank you, because I loved it. It was so good. And now I'm watching Jane the Virgin, which is 5 seasons long. The episodes are 40 minutes long, and there's like 23 episodes per season. So there's like lots. Yeah. I've watched the first season, and I love it. It's just so silly. I love it. I haven't finished Mad Men. Shut up. No, I don't want it to be over. I can't say goodbye to Don Draper. And it's funny, Jane the Virgin has a reference to Burt Bennett as well. It's great.
Oh dear.
So yeah, I definitely recommend Jane the Virgin if you just want like, it's just so over the top and dramatic and like there's just all this crazy, like everyone's boning everyone and everyone's getting murdered and like there's just all this web of madness that's so interesting and just so comical. I love it. And it's it kind of plays on the telenovela style of like dramatic, over the top, like narration and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Makes me want to learn Spanish as well because it's such a beautiful language.
Yeah.
So dope.
Awesome.
There are some subtitles though as well if you don't want to watch things with subtitles. The abuela or the grandma only speaks in Spanish, so there are subtitles for her.
Fair enough.
How about you?
Cool.
Any other shows or movies or? I haven't watched
not
any
really
movies
shows and
recently.
movies. Yeah, no movies, but I have got through a couple of audiobooks.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. So like my pick of not really the week or the period since I last spoke to you guys on Pipe Up form. Ross Edgley's The Art of Resilience. So this follows on the strain that Jeff has followed on for a few years now, and that's fitness type books. Not really fitness specific though. This one's a lot about the human spirit and about how certain things can seem impossible, but you know what, the human body actually just adapts. The human body, the human mind, everything there. So to give you a really 30,000 foot overview here, I actually read them in the wrong order. So he has 2 books. The first of his book is called the World's Fittest Book. And that was written first, and this book was written second. But when I actually started listening to the first book since I finished this book just gone. And he starts off by saying, hey, I've just finished doing what I did for my second book, and I'm recording the audiobook for my first book now. So it's like he's recorded the audiobooks in the order that I'm reading them in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool.
So it's really cool. Nathan, no, it's not the guy that did a marathon pulling a car. It's actually the guy that decided to swim around the whole of Great Britain. So it's a bloody big swim. I mean, a lot of people would go, oh, swimming the Channel is you know, bucket list kind of huge effort. He's done the equivalent. I think it's the equivalent of swimming the Channel like 87 times.
What?
Which is, yeah. So he swam around the whole of Great Britain. I didn't really know. I don't know much about Great Britain in terms of the geography. So I found myself, while I was listening to it, actually just Googling a few of the places it's speaking about, because there's so many things in nature that I've not ever seen, and I'm really intrigued. And if I were to travel Europe, I definitely want to go visit a few of these places. But it's about the type of training that goes into doing that sort of thing. And if I were to say to you, Grace, you know, someone that's going to do 12 hours of work every day for 157 days, you're kind of thinking of like a marathoner, you know, like the stringy kind of skinny muscle fiber type 1 kind of person. If you were to Google a picture of what Ross Edgley looks like, he's actually about my height. He weighs 20 kilograms more than what I do, and it's pure muscle. So he's
holy crap.
Like, yeah. So he carries so much muscle.
Yeah, wow.
He's a strong lad. And when he went to the sports science, so this is the sports scientists, these university graduate PhD people that have said to him, you don't have a body for swimming. You are too
he's
heavy.
Like, hold my beer.
Yeah. He's like, hold my beer. Check this out. Because and the reason why he undertook this is because now that I'm reading the first book, he went through all these crazy things. Like he lived down in South America, in Ecuador, with people that you couldn't tell how old they were because they stopped counting after their 65th birthdays.
Wow.
But they're wrestling bulls, and they're drinking themselves stupid every single night, but they're up in the morning after 3 hours sleep wrestling bulls the next day.
Oh.
And you go, hang on, that's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. But you know what? The human body adapts. And so that's what he's done. And he's taken all of the things that he's learned from conventional science, and he's started actually not picking holes in them, but actually showing how science can be flawed and how certain things are taught to us. But you know what? When we try other things, they're correct as well. So I've really started taking that into my daily life. Whenever I'm speaking with people, or people come to me with fun facts, or try and tell me I'm wrong about things, or I think people are wrong about things, I kind of take that step back now, and it's like, well, do we know everything that we can know about something? Because quite clearly there are people out there that are willing to show that some things can be done differently. And you can actually blow people's minds by you know, being a bodybuilding looking guy and swimming for 12 hours a day for 157 days in a row.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. Yeah. It's so that I would definitely recommend that book, The Art of Resilience.
Yeah.
It's reinvigorated my mindset of just getting through things, getting shit done, gritting your teeth, stop complaining, just get it done.
Yeah.
Because it resets your frame of reference. You realize that there are some things like swimming through a whirlpool, like an actual whirlpool in the North Sea. Like that's crazy. Who would do that? There's worse things. Like, oh man, my coffee tastes burned. Get over it, Jack.
Wet.
Like, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of really good stuff to pull from that book. So like I said, I've started the second one, and I'm reading that one with gusto, or listening to that one with gusto, so I can touch back on that one afterwards.
Cool.
But the first book is actually based on a lot of fitness training methodology, which I would really love to bring to the FFP fam in terms of the next challenge, because there's lots of education I'm pulling from this one.
Yeah.
Which you won't actually pick up from PT schools, because they don't teach this sort of stuff. So I'm willing to share a bunch of this knowledge.
Cool. Well, on the topic of audiobooks, I've kind of just, ever since we listened to Women Don't Know You Pretty, that was kind of my first dive into audiobooks and consuming media in that way. So I've listened to a couple books since then. One was called Debutante by Miranda Tapsell and Nikhil Louis, and that was about I'm trying to let me get like a synopsis of it.
What's a debutante? Debutante is when it's an old-fashioned.
It's basically like a party for rich white women to
fair
hand off their daughters to be married. So it's a really old tradition. So the Debs Ball is a controversial colonial export, but can it also be empowering? Australia's most celebrated young playwright, Nakia Louie, and actress Miranda Tapso will put on their hats and gloves to find out. So they're of Aboriginal descent, and they're talking about from the perspective of Aboriginal women. Is it like something that's positive, or is it like demeaning? And they talk about the stolen generation and if beauty, poise, and politeness can be empowering. It's 9 episodes. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if there was like a definitive answer of like yes it's empowering or no it's like bullshit, but it was interesting to hear their perspective. Yeah. So it was like for Aboriginal women, it's something that they weren't, not that long ago. Aboriginal people were not even considered human beings. So like according to the laws, not from my perspective, like from like white people law, which is fucking ridiculous. And now, they're being included in something that is primarily in the past been for rich white people. So for them, it was, they got to be seen in environments where they normally would not even be classed as a human. So in that way, it was empowering for them to have their moment where, they get to be beautiful, they get to be presented in such a way that they're empowered. But it was just interesting hearing their they'd come from their mobs, which is what their communities are called, and come to this really upmarket fancy place, and then they'd go back to their mobs, which is a completely different dynamic. So that was really interesting. And then I listened to It Burns by Mark Fennell, and you've listened to that as well.
I really enjoyed that one.
I think I've got like 30 minutes left, but I've pretty much listened to the whole thing. And that's about breeding the world's hottest chili. So it's about the Carolina Reaper and Pepper X and all these things. And there's so much drama in that world that I just did not know about. And a lot of the people that are part of that world, there's controversies of whether or not the Carolina Reaper is actually the hottest pepper because they think that the guy, paid off the lab that did the test, or they injected it with extract, or yada yada. Like there's this whole drama and all this shit about this pepper, and it was interesting.
What interested me about that is just how much of that world has actually is linked to personal trauma. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Like,
yeah,
a lot of the people that are breeding the chilies or are a part of doing chili challenges and things are previously either alcoholics or drug addicts, always kind of chasing that next high. And because really, really hot chilies give you that like adrenaline response, it's kind of the same. Like it's very addictive, and you're always kind of chasing that next hottest thing to put your body into like the fight or flight of like, fuck, like we got to survive this really hot thing. And it's interesting.
I completely get that. I've done a bunch of hot things.
I'm gonna say I've done so many hard drugs.
No, the chilies, they're unlike other things. Like, and I think I've mentioned this on stream before, but I used to have a nipple piercing. Similar thing. Apparently, what the piercer was telling me, just of all of the ones that she'd ever done on people, is that endorphin rush from the nipple piercing, same thing as the endorphin rush from the hot chilies or the fight or flight mechanism. And it's a bit of that living life right on the edge there, the pain being pleasure kind of thing.
I think that's probably a similar thing as to why, for me, I really love playing horror games, because they give me that adrenaline rush, or playing a battle royale where my heart rate does get to 160, 170. It's always chasing that adrenaline thing, because in my past, like I used to water ski, I used to ride motorbikes, used to do like kind of not extreme, but exciting things to get my heart racing and get that adrenaline response. And I think that's as well why I really love doing heavy lifts and stuff, because you do get that endorphin rush and you get that adrenaline feeling.
So before we say too much more, I'm just mentioning to Yoga Hana, who came in right at the nipple piercing story, we're actually talking about hot chilies.
Fuck, nipple piercing would hurt. That hurts my soul.
It's
I've never done that. I had my lip pierced, like my labret, and 2 in my ears, and that's it. I never got my nose or eyebrow or anything. But,
okay.
I Can't imagine.
They're apparently really hard to look after, the nose ones. Just keeping them clean and stuff. So yeah.
All the bugs.
Yeah, and that's part of like the pierced life, being a pierced person. A lot of it is just the daily cleaning of the wounds, and yeah, it's it becomes a lot of work. So yeah, that's why I got rid of mine.
So there's the next one that I'm probably going to listen to. I've already bought it on Audible. I'm going to be listening to Nut Jobs by Mark Fennell because I really liked him. He was really funny as an Aussie. Both of those podcasts or audiobooks I listened to were Australian creators as well. There's a whole new library of like Australian made content, which is cool because like for me, it's cool listening to stuff from people outside of Australia, but with people from Australia, like I know about the places that they're talking about. I understand the jargon. Like it just makes more sense to me. Whereas like listening to people talk about places in the US, I'm like, I have no idea about geography. Like I don't know what they're talking about. Or like their politics, I don't understand as much. And yeah, it's just cool listening to local and just hearing an Aussie accent. Like you don't hear that a lot in media. It's cool. It's cool.
That's awesome. Nice. Cool. So we'll hear about that one next time.
Yeah. I've got some horror games to talk about for my picks, and then we can move on to the fitness stuff if you like. Just where we have time. What time is your session? Because I'm not sure if we're going to have time to finish, but we're here together.
We probably won't have time to play the game. 5:30-ish. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if we don't dilly-dally in the game, we probably be okay.
We'll probably get there. Get there. Yeah. Cool. I do probably have to stop for a break in a second too.
Yeah. Can you wait until the end?
Yes.
Cool. Yes. Awesome. So picks of horror. As I mentioned previously, I played lots of horror games over October. There are a few that I just wanted to mention that were definitely noteworthy and definitely worth playing. The first one was Made of Sker. Now that was a British folklore horror game. Super unsettling. It was
British folklore's about like witchcraft and witchy things, isn't it?
Yeah. This one was about like sirens. I don't want to spoil too much because like really good.
Mermaids.
This one was how much I can say without spoiling it. You are trying to find the siren's song. So you're going throughout this big like hotel, finding
items. I haven't played the game and I didn't actually watch you play it, but from mythological standpoint, from what I understand of mythology, the siren song used to take over men's minds and used to change them to their bidding.
Okay, cool. So I think it's pretty early on in the game that you find this out. If you don't want to know anything about the game, just block your ears. But basically the characters in the game found a siren and they were on an expedition or whatever, and they found a wounded siren, so they like took it and utilized it for their evil plan, I suppose, of having it sing toward, I'm trying to really navigate this, like have incoming ships and stuff with their lighthouse or whatever, and have the song bring the boats in so that they crash into the shore and then they can take all their supplies, and they're like trying to be bad guys about it. So that was kind of like an interesting perspective of an evil plan using a siren. So it's your task to find the song, and there's some other twists and turns, but yeah, it was really fun, and I got the really bad ending. Which is just always the case. Always. But so did Jens. Jens played it as well, one of my friends who streams, and she got the bad ending as well. So I think it's pretty common. Because to get the good ending, you have to find like everything, and most of the time, like there's a mechanic in the game where you can hold your breath so that the creatures that have sacks on their head, so they're blind, but they have really good hearing. So you have to like sit in a corner, like like hold your breath and your hand, and they just walk past you. It's super spooky. So that was really fun. I knocked it out in one stream. I think it was about 6-ish hours long.
Yep. Nice.
One that you and I have both played that's relatively still kind of new. Phasmophobia. Oh. So fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
It's it's up to 4 people versus AI ghosts, and it's your task to determine what ghost you're dealing with. You have a bunch of tasks. You have like a truck that's like a surveillance truck. You can see your sanity. You can see the map. You can see cameras. And your tasks, and it's pretty fucking spooky because you walk into a house and you don't know what kind of ghost you're going to be up against. You know if it's going to be like super hostile or only respond to people who are alone or hunt in groups, and yeah, it's super fun. I've had a really fun time playing that.
Do you think it's more scary by yourself or with other people?
So much worse on your own. Like, I tried to play it cool the first time I played it. There's like a tutorial that you have to go through on your own, and I was trying to play it cool and stream, but deep down, I'm so glad I didn't have my heart rate monitor on because I was fucking scared.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not scary at all, chaps. It was easy.
So we were fortunate enough to play it with Hex, Steph, and
Reese.
and another Reese.
Yeah.
Reese.
That was so fun.
That was fun. That was fun with other people. But yeah, me doing the tutorial by myself, even though it tells you that the tutorial, this ghost is not gonna aggro at you, it's
still
awful.
Scary.
Still Christopher
Just
Williams.
walk into the house and it's like this white noise, anxiety-inducing sound that's just like, oh fuck, here we are. Yeah, that's intense. So that's been really fun. The other, I've got 4 that I'm going to mention as well. They're all like single player ones. Oh, actually, so Dark Picture Anthology. They Supermassive were the original creators of Until Dawn, and then they started releasing the Dark Pictures Anthology, which is a collection. There's going to be 8 games. There's 2 right now. There's Man of Medan, which came out last year, and Little Hope, which came out on the 30th of October. Oh, it was so good. I'm so happy. It was so good. Like, I can't stress enough how much of a roller coaster this game is. And Jeff and I, because you can play it solo or you can play it in co-op. So it's like a butterfly effect game. Every decision that you make in the game affects the outcome. It affects whether people live or people die. There's quick time events where, you know, you're running away from an evil thing, and if you fuck up a quick time event, the person falls down and they get killed. So it's like high tension, high stress. Like, you need to be watching and paying attention. And we're gonna.
Does the co-op work? Is that online?
I don't know. I've not ever watched it, and I'm actually really excited to see how it goes, because you obviously like both see the same stuff. I don't know how it works with who's in control or whatever, but we're gonna do Man of Medan next time we do Pipe Up, because it's about 4 hours, and then next time after that we're gonna do Little Hope co-op, because I think it's gonna be like, when you play those games solo, it's your fault if you fuck something up and get someone killed.
But when I'm letting down a Grace, I know how disappointed you'll be in me.
If I'm like, if you get my favorite person killed, I'll be pissed. If you fail a quick time event and get my favorite person killed, I will be mad.
So mad.
So yeah, I think that'll be interesting. And just like seeing, like, in the moment, if there's a decision where I'm watching you make a choice or vice versa, it'll be interesting for you to be like, fuck, I would have said the other thing or whatever, like, just to see how much our choices would differ. I think that'll be an interesting dynamic for sure. Only Grace kills Grace's favorite person. Yeah, I can live with my own mistakes, but I'll be mad if something happens.
Yep.
So that was a really good one. Really like digestible, fun games. Things you could play, you know, with a group of friends on the couch and hand the controller around. Super fun. Amnesia Rebirth, mentioned it earlier. It's the 3rd one in the series. I didn't feel like it was overly scary, but again, my tolerance is completely fucked from just playing the worst games ever. I think it was really good. It took me 2 streams. I think it was about 9 to 12 hours, depending on how much you look around for secrets and stuff like that.
Do you need to have played the original Amnesias to get into this one? Okay.
Nah. Like, there may be like references and mechanical things that would make more sense if you'd play the others, but I mean, you know what games are like these days. They generally just make it user-friendly that you can just jump into anything without having prior knowledge. Yeah. So that was a really good one. Like, it was such a beautiful game as well. Like, it was made super well. Like, it was really good. Worth the play. Multiple different endings too. I got the secret ending without even realizing. Definitely some trigger warning things with that one though. There are like a couple things that's pretty intense, and there's also like a pregnancy and babies and things that might be triggering for people. So just be wary. With all these games, like, they're obviously horror games. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to make you feel terror and so obviously with all these games, if you are sensitive, just maybe read the synopsis and see if there's any trigger warnings that are specific to you before you jump into them, because some of them are pretty deep. Speaking of which, Infliction, probably the one that had me on edge the most that I played in October. It's really funny because it came across really cheesy from the start. If you guys were here watching it, there was a scene where you turn on the TV and it's public access TV, and there's this guy putting on a really bad Italian accent doing this cringy cooking show, and I was like, what is this game? Like, what
Can
is...
you do the accent?
what was his name? It's like cooking with a Marco. It was like so. It was so bad, and I was like, "What is this?" And then the game just fucking turned it up to 100, and got really like it was focused around a family, and you're in a house, so it was very. I think the reason why Amnesia Rebirth didn't get me to my core was because it was kind of otherworldly and it was kind of supernatural and it didn't seem super realistic. So I had that disconnect of like, it's just a game. Whereas with Infliction, it's touching on a family in a house that's, like just a house. And there's a woman who lost a child and she's struggling with addiction and the husband's an alcoholic and there's this whole like family deteriorating dynamic, which I haven't struggled with those things, but I have had like a really broken family and like messy divorce and things like that. So for me, like a lot of real world stuff that I could relate to. It kind of gets a little supernatural a bit, but it's definitely more realistic that I was like, is unsettling. Yep, this makes me feel things. Yeah. So, which is not super common with the games that I've played. Like they're either super far-fetched and not relatable or they kind of hit you. I think because I had no expectations as well, it was just like a $12 game on Steam that I was like, this looks kind of spooky. I think the fact that it did ramp up and get so terrifying, I was like, I wasn't expecting this. Holy shit. Like, that got me. So that's a good one. And then the last one is The Cursed Forest. And that was a little more supernatural. The jump scares started to get a little bit predictable. Towards the end, after you started getting used to the enemy, like it fucking got me a good couple times at the start. But then I started kind of understanding how, the music ramps up and you're like, there's a jump scare coming. Things like that. But all in all, I really liked it. I think it's quite a little hidden gem in the horror field, which is cool. And worth a play. So all of those, if you're into horror content, definitely worth a play.
Awesome.
And glad I played them. There was a couple that were, a bit whatever, but that's fine. Pretty much all a hit.
The fitness section.
Fitness.
Of Pipe Up. Fitness. Couple of things to touch on. I didn't know how much you had to talk about on the fitness line of things.
Not heaps.
Not heaps. I mean, you did mention earlier on the FFP 8-week challenge currently.
Yeah.
We're about to hit the halfway point, and you're feeling really good. And I'm super happy that that people like Hailstar are also feeling really, really good, and people that are on it, even like GTA as well, mentioned to me that he's really enjoying the Discord sessions that we're adding into this challenge this time.
Yeah.
Which again, like because I just listened to that audiobook that I just listened to, there's a lot of things that I think for the next challenge I'd like to try. And I've been working with a few people at my IT job building programs for them, and they've been I've said this to a lot of people where I'm not ever gonna be offended when people want to work with a different trainer outside of myself. And that's what's happened. There's a few people that have worked with other trainers and they're coming back to me for a little bit of advice on what they've been given from another trainer. And it's one of those things where I look at what other people do and say, number one, I don't want to criticize what they're doing, but I also want to try and learn from what other people are doing too. And just knowing that there are different ways to skin a cat, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So that's been really, really cool doing that as well.
Yourself, don't let Jeff near the cats.
Skinning them multiple ways.
See my vest.
So the 8-week, and that's I suppose that was part of the ups that I can mention for this Pipe Up as well.
You didn't change your overlay.
Challenge. Oh, I need to change my overlay. Okay. Bop. There we go. Fitness. So it's been really, really cool, and I'm hoping that it's proving as valuable to the people that are on it that the last challenges have been, and that's why we're continuing. What are we up to season 5 now of the FFP challenges?
It's crazy.
It's been a great ride, and it's still continuing to move on as well.
Yeah, I really like the Discord portions as well. Like it's cool being able to, because for me, like obviously being on stream all the time, I like coming on the fitness stream from time to time, but not every day. Like I props to you for doing it, but I do like having that disconnection, that more of like a private session feel with people, and seeing people like GTA like really honing in on his form and getting hell strong. Like it's so cool to watch behind the scenes. I really like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Sweet.
Did you want to talk about the thing that you might be signing up for?
the thing that I might be signing up for. Which one's that one? What's your
Education?
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to note. Yeah, so I have been in talks with a couple of, well, obviously me being me, I tend to research a lot of things before I jump into it, and I've spent a lot of time researching different types of nutritional educational streams, where that's one thing that I've made pretty clear as part of me being in the fitness world and being a fitness professional is that I'm qualified in certain things. I know a lot about a lot of things, but a lot of the things I won't
Big
actually...
brain over here. I know a lot about everything.
What I mean to say is that I know I've researched lots of things and I've gathered lots of knowledge, but I won't teach anything or I won't push that knowledge onto people because I know, number one, it's not ethical of me to do that. But number two, I also want to make sure that I'm qualified. I have insurance in certain areas before I start to push that out onto
integrity
other
again. Look at all this integrity. My goodness. You mean you're not just going to sell people blue light glasses and things that actually have no science behind them?
I'll tell you to go on a keto because I know that works. So what I've done is spent probably the last week and a half emailing and speaking to different organizations, and I think I've settled upon one of many nutritional. It's basically a diploma in nutrition. So
what does that allow you to do?
So what that will allow me to do is non-clinical nutrition planning, which means I can develop meal plans for people that are on my programs for certain goals, certain things like weight loss, weight gain. If someone has a diagnosed nutritional abnormality, then I'm allowed to work around that. But what I won't be able to do, and this is the realm of university trained dietitians, I'm not going to be diagnosing people with any sort of nutritional disorder. So things like celiac disease or whether or not they should go onto keto because of diabetics or epilepsy, that sort of thing. So that's obviously, I could get qualified in that if I decided to do some postgraduate study, which would be, 5-6 years worth of study and again, multiple tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's quite affordable, and I should be able to become a fully fledged nutritionist in around 7 to 12 months. So
yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that's I think that's one I'm going to pull the trigger on.
Yeah, because I think like going the full mile and being able to diagnose those things, I think it's good being like a one-stop shop, I suppose. But also, I don't think it's a bad idea to have that kind of space between it to be able to be like, hey, I think you should go talk to this professional, and getting multiple opinions, because then it allows people to go and be like, cool, this person told me that, I'm lactose intolerant, or I'm intolerant to these types of things, or I have celiac, or I'm diabetic, or whatever. And then they can come to you with that rather than you having to be everything, because I feel like that's a lot. And I think it's good for people to have multiple professionals in their lives helping them be like an optimal human. Absolutely.
And so what I've actually found is that in one of the books, because I tend to have a few things on the go, and one of the books that I'm reading, I've mentioned it on the stream before, is it's called The Game Changing, or it's something about changing, but it's in terms of the fitness industry. And what they found is that the most effective people in the fitness industry, they're not specialists. What people tend to do is they go, okay, I want to learn about this, and then they narrow their field of knowledge down to specialize in a certain thing. Whereas what people need right now, because if you could imagine, Grace, like if you wanted to have a dietitian following you around, a PT following you around, a chiropractor, a physio, a neurologist, a dermatologist, all these people sort of following you around just to keep you healthy, that would be so bloody expensive. That would be super expensive.
And just be like perpetually at appointments.
Yeah, exactly. Appointments, and you'd be just throwing money at all these specialists. But if you can imagine you said it, the one-stop shop fitness person where, okay, I specialize in physical training, and that's what you're here to do. You're here to physically train with me. But you know what? In between our sets, while you're resting there, we can talk about things like your nutrition. We can talk about, okay, when I move this way, my muscle hurts in this way. And if I know a certain amount about certain things, that I can either, number one, correct things, or number two, send people off as a referral to a specialist.
Yeah.
That one-stop shop is what most people need, because they can't afford to have 3 people following them around.
Yeah, totally.
So that's my aim, is that the 2 biggest things in becoming a fitter person physically, physical training and nutrition. So
yeah, definitely. It's the most logical next step into expanding your, like, not only just expanding your knowledge, but expanding the qualifications that you're allowed to like give people actually. Rather than just being like a guy on the internet that's like, hey, this worked for me, here you go. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Which a lot of people are, hey, you're fit. Tell me how to be fit.
Exactly.
Hey, you're skinny. How do I be skinny? What should I eat?
How do I be skinny? Yeah.
How many pizzas should I not have a week?
I saw you doing pull-ups on Instagram. You tell me how to do things. No. Yeah, so that one's a good one. That one's a cool one.
It's exciting.
The other, very exciting. And so hopefully, as part of like the fitness challenges coming up, I'll be able to do a bit more of the nutrition side of things, which I had in the past partnered up with people like Evolution Nutrition as part of the program that I was using. But it's always tough because that's a bit regional too. That one was very
a lot of this stuff
American.
was like US based.
Yeah. So it was in ounces and things, and then you buy things differently, and then and again, it's not really tailored to the certain person. It's just it's an overall shotgun blast to cover a lot of things. So so that's cool. So I mean, that was one of the things on the fitness thing that I wanted to talk about. The other thing, which is becoming less and less relevant now that COVID restrictions are lifting, was the fact that a lot of races had been cancelled.
Yeah.
But in their place, what we're finding are a lot of virtual races. So first time in 48 years that the City to Bay has been cancelled.
So crazy. I'm surprised because I mean we've been at 0 cases for weeks and it's outdoors, but I guess it's more the festival part at the end where everyone's kind of crammed in. So
correct. And I was thinking about this, the way that festival stays running and the way it makes its money is actually from the stalls at the end.
Yeah.
They cost a lot of money, so that's how they're staying afloat. So that was cancelled with virtual races done in its place.
Yeah.
Which is cool because I've done virtual races with things like Zombies Run in the past. But I kind of had the idea, which I did raise on an FFP there, which I've kind of floated with you a bit, but like something like an FFP virtual race.
Yeah.
How might that fit in? And I'm thinking that might be the next FFP challenge that we do, is where we work towards a race.
So they'd be like training for that.
Yeah,
and then
so it would be
the end goal, like the actual event.
Yeah, and I would probably do it a bit more like a scavenger hunt. So it would be, okay, you're gonna take your phone, you're gonna do because there are a lot of free apps out there that do your GPS tracking. But you wouldn't have to show your map, obviously, for privacy reasons. Just show that you've run 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
But over the 5 kilometers, you've got this checklist of things to do. So, okay, you have to take a video of yourself doing 30 burpees, and then a checkpoint of you doing a 20-second dead hang and things like that. And just have a whole checklist of things that you have to do and submit it at the end, or you can make a montage or something like that. So that was on my list of ideas there, which I didn't know what people would think of that. I suppose it would come down to how well I execute the idea there.
Yeah, it'd be tough. It's always hard to get people involved in stuff like, especially like different stuff, I think.
It may even be something that I just have to do myself and show people how easy and how fun it is, and then shout out to people.
Yeah, like
to
we do
next one
or something, and then show it and use it as like a promo or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so hard because like there's nothing like an actual race, like, you know, having monkey bars and mud and barbed wire and all these things is like what makes it exciting, and the fact that you're out against the elements is like what gives you that sense of achievement at the end. But obviously in the day and age that we're in at the moment, it's not really possible. So we have to try and come up with a virtual way to do it, which, I mean, it could be interesting. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, cool. Like, may as well give it a try. Miss 100% of the shots you don't.
That's right. That's right. So that were the main things that I wanted to touch on. I mean, there was the Laszlo's hierarchy of needs, which came up from a question of Nacho's earlier on. So Nacho asked if you were to look at something like building a house, and what would you look at first? Like what sections would you actually prioritize over other things? And Laszlo's hierarchy of needs, it's I'm gonna have to Google it just to make sure I didn't get it wrong.
Bedroom, probably. You're gonna spend most of your time sleeping.
That's right. So the bottom
blackout curtains.
So the first part that you actually need as part of the hierarchy of needs. Stop this. It's where's the picture? The bottom is things like air, food, water, shelter, sleep, clothing.
It's like things you cannot live without.
You can't live without it all. So that's the bottom of it. Above that, you've got the safety needs. So things like personal security, employment, resources, health, property. So you'd look at the kitchen and the bedroom first. You'd prioritize those over other things. The safety needs would be, okay, I'm going to have a yard and a fence. After that, love and belonging is the third on the hierarchy. So friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. So that's when you look at kind of entertaining areas or second bedrooms, extra space, that sort of thing. Is it Maslow's? It's Maslow's. It's Maslow's. Sorry, Will. Esteem. Okay. So what Will's saying is that no modern psychologist actually accepts it or believes it, but it is fun to discuss. So just taking all this with a grain of salt, chat.
Yeah, like most things.
With most things, esteem. So you got respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom come after that. And then right at the top, which is a small part of the pyramid, is the desire to become most that one can be. So self-actualization. So it's kind of saying things like, if you want to go out and train to be the best bodybuilder in the world, you first have to make sure that you've actually got air, food, and water.
Can you just get closer to the mic? You're a bit quiet.
Okay. So
far away.
to make sure, like, if you want to chase dreams of self-actualization, you got to make sure that you've got like the ability to live and breathe first. So that's the rough gist of it. But yeah, it's interesting, Will, to say that most modern psychologists don't accept it. So I'm not exactly sure how old this is. I've just heard it used
like
pretty
the food pyramid.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's right.
Interesting.
So that's a good one. I kind of just wanted to round out the fitness piece as well. I did find this link. When was it? A couple of weeks ago. It was born out of armchair psychology. Yeah, well, most fun discussion points aren't they, Will?
Yeah.
So, which is cool. So I've got a few questions for you, Grace. Okay. Just as a little bit of a fun exercise. Okay, so if I were to ask you, Grace, out of you and your siblings, are you the oldest or the youngest?
Youngest.
You're the youngest one? Okay. Did you ever take music lessons?
Yeah.
When you were young? You did? Okay. Do you smoke currently? Nope. Okay. Are you thin? Or I suppose,
what
are
spectrum?
you not obese, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed, okay. Have you used recreational drugs?
Once,
okay.
Unless alcohol counts.
I don't know. No, I think it's illegal drugs.
Once.
Yep. Do you have a cat? Yes.
2.
So you have 2 cats. And are you tall?
I guess I'm above average, so yes.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So.
What am I? Tell me.
What are you? So
what does that mean?
These are examples of, and I'm glad Will's here for this one. These are examples of funny correlations that have been linked to if you're smarter than average.
Huh.
So apparently the oldest child tends to be more smarter than the youngest child.
In my family.
No. If you took music lessons, you tend to be smarter. If you don't smoke, you're smarter. That, I think it goes without saying. Generally, yeah. If you're thin, you tend to be smarter. If you're left-handed as well. So divergent thinking is one of these traits.
Saying my brother's much smarter than me because he's left-handed and tall and sport best.
And also, if you've used recreational drugs, apparently you now this is a past tense. If you have in the past used them and you no longer do, that's then you tend to be in the smarter category.
I mean,
if you
yeah.
If you have cats, you tend to be smarter.
Yeah, suck at dog people. I'm kidding. I love dogs too.
Yeah, it's so the study actually found that dog people were more outgoing, but cat people were more intelligent.
Okay.
So
we're letting animals that plot world domination into our homes. So smart.
And apparently height also correlates to intelligence too. So taller people.
So you're an idiot, Jeff.
I'm an idiot.
That's so random.
It's a funny one. So this is actually it's correlation. So none of this is
causation.
One causes the other.
Yeah.
But they've found that there are some statistically significant numbers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor pleb. Everything in these questions doesn't work in his favor.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's so sad. That's so random.
Yeah. And so this is, again, it just goes to show that, I mean, of everyone in chat here, I can pick exceptions to all of those rules.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
you gotta make sure you know how you're reading science and how you're interpreting data.
Yeah. I've kind of always wanted to, I've never done an IQ test. I kind of want to try it just because I'm curious, but then I don't know if I'd want to like tell people if I got a bad score.
To be honest, I don't know if you'd have the time to do one. They're quite long.
Are they?
Yeah. So I did one. It took about 5.5 hours.
Jeez.
5 hours-ish.
I am so smart. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I just don't know if I could be bothered. And is there like condensed versions that are accurate or nah, you got to do the full?
I don't think they're accurate, no. They're like those ones you find on Pop Sugar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know if they're super accurate.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it measures not necessarily academia smartness. Will said it depends on what sort of intelligence, because there's things called EQ as well, the emotional intelligence, and the way that you read emotions and the way that you can actually think abstractly as well.
Yep.
So if you can think outside of the box, there's a lot of that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's different types of intelligence. And like you said, you'd be interested in sitting an IQ test. I think it's more about you'd be interested to see how well you can solve certain puzzles and what sort of puzzles.
Because I love
fit
puzzle
you.
games. Because there's people that are like on paper they're really smart, but they have no like street smarts. It's like there's lots of different types.
I work in
smarts.
IT. I work in IT, and so I'll often go to the places that I have to do the most work are the ones where they have a whole bunch of degrees up on the wall, because they just don't know what they're doing.
Don't click on Pornhub ads, please. It's going to give you malware.
Yeah. Oh, and they've got the most hubris as well. I'm sorry if I'm doing a generalization at the moment, but like they're normally the rudest people are the ones that have the most academia smartness, but they just think themselves above other
There's
things.
definitely like an elitism. Elitist mentality.
There'll be an elitist
with
everywhere with anything, but yeah, I've just found a correlation between that.
Hey, I'm back. Anyone know how to get rid of malware? That's great. That's interesting. It would be cool to do like maybe in future episodes, like not an IQ test, but some kind of like quiz up against each other, or even though I'm going to get wrecked by you because you know everything. But something where like it could be a fun experiment where we do like some kind of test or quiz or puzzle against one another or something. Could be cool. I'd like
to see that just so you can prove yourself wrong there. I think you'd be able to smash a lot of different things that I couldn't.
I mean, it depends on those topics. Like if it was like what's the show? Like, or like is it Jeopardy or something where there's like different topics? So like you'd obviously destroy the science one, but I might do better with like the arts or games or pop culture or whatever. Like.
And look, I do have in my cabinet in the kitchen, I do have a stubby holder that says EB's brainiest manager. So
congrats. What an achievement.
I won that
one. Well job.
Yeah.
Jeez. Nice. Oh, did you want to talk about Movember also for the end? We should, if we're going to finish this game in time, we need to get started.
We need to get started. Yep. And I think number one, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone that's actually contributed to this, because I did not think that within the first week, it's not even been a week into November, and I've doubled my original goal of 1,000 Australian dollars. We've hit $2,000 for the team. So that means that I will be doing another physical challenge for everyone. But yeah, Movember itself, speaking about fitness and health, we're talking about men's health issues. Now, this is not to deviate from any other gender's health issues. This one was designed because stereotypically men don't like to talk about things. Men don't like to go to the doctors. Men don't like to follow up on health issues. So it's really, really important to support causes that actually help men through testicular cancer, prostate cancer, depression, suicide prevention, mental health issues, those sorts of things. So it's something I definitely believe strongly in for the past 15 years. And I've been raising money since then, and I've been able to build, obviously, a really, really cool team of people that also grow silly moustaches. So if you're listening on the podcast, you won't have seen my funny looking face right now, but on video, I've got a bit of a moustache started. It's 6 days old, so it's still quite small.
Baby Mo.
Baby Mo. But I have been following one of the rules, which is to have started with a clean shaven face. The other rule is that you do need to cultivate it. So you see that my chin is shaved further than my upper lip. I think on this weekend coming up, I'm going to shape it into the final form that it's going to be, which is a pencil moustache. So we'll give that a crack.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think the links have been in both of our chats there.
Yeah.
Which is just mobro.co/FFPJeff. But you don't have to donate.
Up your target.
I do have to up my target, don't I? Okay.
Really
I'll log in
now.
after and do that. The stretch goal for this one was $5,000 for the team. I will shave my head, or Grace will shave my head for me.
Yes, please let me do it. Go chat. Do your best. I'll chuck in some more.
Look, we've still got 25 days in the month, so that's.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing some, like maybe a thing where maybe like halfway through or something when you've got like a good amount. I was thinking of coming and doing something on FFP where I like paint a moustache on myself as well, and we do like cool. Something like a cool workout or something like that. I don't know.
Movember
just
workout.
to raise some more awareness for it, because it is a really good cause, and I think a lot of people. They know Movember's a thing, like people growing moustaches, but they don't really know anything beyond that. Like they don't know there's like charity involved or what it's raising awareness for. So I think it's a really neat thing to be doing, and having done it for 15 years, that's dope. I want to like help with my influence to help you and help the charity. So that'd be fun.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah. So that's Movember, and you won't. This isn't the last you'll hear of that. I'll be talking about it all month. And that's the whole point. We want to start conversations. I don't mind looking funny for a month because we can talk about why I look funny, and that starts that conversation. That's the whole point. So, look, the rest of the year I have as much time for me to grow a beard back as I want. But this one's for all the blokes out there that are suffering. So
yeah. Nice. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. It's been a good chat. 2 hours 27.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
It was
I think, us
cool to
doing
be
them
back.
less. Yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah.
Being a little less frequent means that we do have a chance to consume some content that we can talk about as well.
Totally.
Which
like trying to have like a show or a movie or an audiobook in 1 week was like, I already don't have a lot of time, and I didn't want FFP. I didn't want Pipe Up to become like a chore or something where I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't like it. Normally for people that do podcasts, like obviously a big generalization, but like podcasts from people that I watch, they have a whole crew doing all the research and creating the document where they can just read it and have the clips and have all the links and references and things where they can just present it. Whereas like obviously we're doing this ourselves, so we do need to find some time in our already busy schedules to like research and to, like find tech things to talk about fitness things. Like it's a lot of work. So we kind of just want to do it whenever it suits rather than stressing about we have to do it every Friday, every week. Otherwise it's going to be off topic, and like, I think it's better to just do it if like something big comes up and we want to do an episode focused around that, like a specific book or a film or whatever. Then I think that's, it gives us a bit more freedom with it, and I think it will make it just a lot more digestible and fun for us as well. Yeah,
James has just asked if we do it fortnightly, but I think if we were to try and stick to a hard schedule like that, it does become difficult because it would feel like a chore if, especially like what you've got, Grace, you've got some opportunities coming up which may or may not fall onto the days that we'd planned. And even me, if I'm thinking about adding some tertiary studies in, there's got to be some time there. So, whenever it suits. But I think it's also, you know what, if something crazy happens in social media as well, it might be worth us popping on just to have a chat about it. So I think we be agile and we play it by ear, and that works well.
Definitely. Yeah. Cool. So on that note, everyone, thank you so much for joining us live. If you are watching live, stick around. We're going to switch over and we're going to play We Were Here Together. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on the many platforms where Pipe Up is available, hope you enjoyed. Would you like to add anything, Jeff?
No. I just want to thank everyone that's come along for the journey and that have asked me when the next Pipe Up is, because that means that there are people that want to hear us.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys giving us like a platform where we can just like chat and not have to interact with chat like super intensely because I do that every day, and it's nice to just be able to have a chat and put our thoughts out there and have you all listen and enjoy and maybe spark some conversation either offline or in the Discord or whatever. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Stick around if you're live, and everybody else, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.